complicated because I would dare to say that 89% of the things we did in our previous relationships, God was nowhere in it anyway.
Amen.
So it would be so complicated because you can't make sin make sense.
Amen.
There's no sense in sin. And so I'd like to start on a high level, and let's talk about righteous relationships. And so that we can at least get an understanding of God's way or God's order. And then we can work our way into where we are now. But I pray that the room is predominantly filled with believers. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So we and just as God have, and this is what I want us to be comfortable in, that just as God have blessed our lives, whether it's healing our minds, whether it's restoring us, whether it's financial blessings, however God has blessed our lives up until this point, he'll do the same thing in a marriage and in a relationship. And so we want to trust our Father like that. So I'm not gonna give a presentation like I'm an expert on relationships. Again, I'm gonna try to keep it on a spiritual level with biblical understanding, and then share experiences and open to questions. But again, the goal, and I'm glad Mr. Terry is here to kind of help me. Did he go? Where'd he go? Yes, hi. And so the goal is to give an understanding of how things can work in a righteous relationship. So, okay, let's go to our slide. So, happy Love Day, first of all, as we talk about righteous relationships. Okay, next slide. So, in the Word of God, in Genesis 1:28, first of all, because we're believers, there's not going to be any other kind of relationship except it's going to be marriage or we're going to be friends. There's no in between. We're going to be married or we're going to be friends. There's no living together. There's no shacking. There's no sex partners because we're believers. Only Deborah saying amen.
Amen.
So we can just forget trying to make any of that make sense. Because it's not God.
Amen.
Fornication, and this is Brady, I love you, please hold your amens. Because I don't want it to feel like a church environment as much as we're learning and we're feeding off of one another. Is that okay? So no offense, but I want us to feel this because we're understanding a lifestyle as a son and a daughter of God. We're moving in our sonship, and we're understanding what God is to us and what he's requiring of us as his children in our sonship. And the reason why, again, I want to pitch it so high is because we've got to come out of so much of a gutter of what the world have called love. Amen. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Amen. And I need y'all don't freeze up on me either. Don't sit there like, she is not talking about me. That is not, nope, I'm not fornicating at all, Pastor. Don't do that either. It ain't my business. I'm just going to give you the word. So to keep it clear and to keep perspective, and so that there's no confusion, should I have relationships with brothers and sisters in Christ or somebody? Yes, because we want to get to know one another and we want to be friends and we want to get acquainted. But the bottom line, this is not new, it's not a mystery. When sex gets in it, everything gets confusing. Right. Talk back to me, grown-ups. And if you try to act like it doesn't, you're deceiving yourself. When sex get involved, when kissing get involved, when too much smooching get involved, everything is confused. And now your conscience is bothering you, so you want to try to rush and make this relationship okay, because it's really because you're sex happy, and I really don't even know this person. And when sex get involved, emotions get involved, and now my understanding is cloudy about who you are, because it's a bad thing, more than I know you. So, the truth of the matter is, this is the chapter about sex. The truth of the matter is that when we get married, we have a lifetime to figure out how we like it. Y'all ain't talking back to me. We got a lifetime. We're going to thank you. We have the rest of our lives. Oh, I didn't like that. Oh, we can try again tomorrow. Okay. We have the rest of our lives. Okay, that worked. Tuesday worked. I'll try to remember.
Talk about
If
it.
they can't please me, we have a lifetime
Talk about it.
to play. Did you see that magazine the other day? What magazine? The one I left by your bed under your Bible? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You have a lifetime. And the truth of the matter is, when you fall in love with a person, intimacy becomes easier because I love you. So you end up giving yourself over easier because I love you. So God said in Genesis in the very beginning, purpose of two people coming together, church, is because I blessed them. And I said to them, I want you to be fruitful and increase in number. I want you to fill the earth, and then I love this part, and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every living creature that moves on the ground. That's what he calls a marriage. Y'all better say that's bad right there. That's bad right there. I want y'all to be blessed. I'm going to bless them. And I'm going to say to them, I want y'all to be fruitful. Hallelujah. When a man and a woman come together, he said, when y'all come together with me, he said, I want you to be fruitful. I want you to increase in number, fill the earth, and then subdue it. Take it down. Take the earth down to the ground, because y'all got each other. Subdue it, and then rule over the fish in the sea, and rule over the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground. Next slide. So God got power couples. Shout hallelujah. God, he don't have shackers. He don't have whoremongers. He don't have fly-by-nights. He don't have one-night stands. Y'all better talk back to me. He don't have test drivers. He creates power couples. And when he brings, and when men and women come together under a covenant with God, what I think is so bad about this, that's on the positive note, what I think is so great about this is that it's the principle of marriage. Whether you're a believer or not, Beyonce and Jay-Z, power couples. I ain't judging people what their faith is. The Obamas, power couples. When men and women come together in unity, he said, I bless them. The principle of what I run by, period. I bless them when they come together and make a covenant before me. Power couples. Some of the most profound ministries in the earth today are husband, the Blakes, power couples. Floyd Flake in New York, power couples. The Jakes, power couples. God creates power couples. You ain't marrying because I'm lonely. Because then that person gonna get bored to you too. But you marry because I believe in God for that person. We can ready to do this. We can ready to subdue the earth. Y'all not talking back to me. Maybe I'm the only one happy about what marriage is. It is men and women coming together and saying, we got this. So there's a vibe, there's a oneness, there is a seeing eye to eye, there's an energy and a synergy of success that two people have. That's outside the bed, y'all. It's outside the bed. Because you could be the bomb in the bed and the knucklehead out of the bed. Y'all not talking back to me. That could be your only trait. Y'all not going to talk back to me. You ain't got no vision. You ain't got no about you. You don't want to do nothing. Y'all not talking back to me. You don't want to go nowhere. And I'm not about to sleep in no bed every day, all day, 24 hours a day. I'm hungry. I can't even move good because I'm hungry. It ain't going to happen. But power couples mean we see the same thing. We believe the same thing, and we're after something. So God, in the beginning, he brought Adam and Eve together as a power couple. Watch this next slide. Here we go. So for the man, if you don't understand who you are and what you are, then you'll never be able to lead a family. You cannot lead a family, man, if you don't even know who you are. And I hope today, I just hope it can enlighten on both sides. Because I'm giving you principles, church. Everything I'm going to give you tonight, By the grace of God, I'm going to give you his principles. And his principles don't change. Life is built on God's principles. So men, if you don't know who you are or whose you are, you won't be able to comfortably lead your family. It says so, 1 Corinthians 11:3, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ. And the head of the woman is man. And the head of Christ is God. This is why I wish I had my whiteboard. Work with me, sisters. Just be calm. There's no way you can get around this. There's nothing you can protest. You can get all the banners. You can have as many parades as you like. I'm not throwing off. I'm telling you the fact. You can campaign it. Nothing changes God's order. He said, when I created man, I created him in my image. And it's me, it's my son, it's man, and then it's woman. So men, if you don't know that you have a higher power, a higher strength that you can pull from called Christ, then you're going to keep going through life blinded. A lot of unnecessary mistakes, a lot of bad decisions because you don't know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, you don't know how to align your life to purpose. Is this making sense? When I understand that God is my Father and he is the head of me, then I'm not looking to a woman to do nothing for me because it's coming from God. Say that again. I need thank you. Silent, a fearful clap in the back. You understand that I belong to God, and God is my head, and I don't need a woman to help me do nothing, because I get my help from God. When a man understands that, he really has the potential to be unstoppable, because now you can run in the strength of that knowledge. You can conquer things in the strength that God is with me. And ain't nobody over him to hit me or to hinder me. So when I acknowledge God, when I ask God for help, God is, I dare to say he is bound to help me because he knows I am your help. Are y'all working with me? So when men understand that, then your perspective about marriage and your perspective about the young lady you choose should change. It should be different. Here we go. Next one. God, one of the most misquoted scriptures is, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of the Lord. One of the most misquoted scriptures that I have ever heard. The actual scripture says, next slide. Next, whoso findeth a wife. It does not say he, it says who. Whoso findeth a wife, findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord. And that's because, men of God, sometimes you need somebody else to help you find your wife. It don't take nothing from you. When Isaac mother died, the Bible says that Abraham sent the servant to go find Isaac a wife because he was grieving the loss of his mother. And the servant found Rebekah, a kind and a nurturing and a caring woman. Samson, who had this anointing in his hair, the Lord told his mama, don't let him get with them whores. No. Don't let him marry the whores. They gonna mess him. Tell him to stay with a sanctified girl. But he didn't listen. And he got with them heifers, and that is literal. He got with the heifers, And we know the story. They took his string. So sometimes, and I'm going to go ahead of myself a little bit, but sometimes, brothers, the reason why you might need that help is because there's a, I don't want to call it weak because that'll offend you. There's a, what's that word, propensity? Is that right? Did I pronounce it right? That you can be seduced. And the wrong one will get your attention. And the wrong one will get your heart. So the Bible says, whosoever findeth a wife, everybody say wife. Wife. Everybody say wife. Wife. Not a girlfriend, say a wife. Wife. Not even a boo, seriously, a wife. Wife. Yeah, yeah. Not my homie, that's my dog right there. No, a wife. Everybody talk back to me, say wife. Wife. Yeah, not my booty call, say a wife. Y'all better talk back to me. He said, whoever find a wife, you find a good thing. So if you content going from girl to girl and answering or whatever you're doing with your, because you can't do this like a phone number, you do like this, I don't know, your booty call thing. If you're content with that, then keep it rolling. But she can't do you like a wife. Y'all not talking back to me. But if I find a wife, men, you want a wife. You don't want a girlfriend. You don't want a hoochie. You want a wife. You don't want a heifer. You don't want a contentious woman. You want a wife. He said, when you find a wife, you found some good. And that's how you get your favor. Here we go. Next verse. He said, now, because house and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent, talk back, y'all, and a prudent, wife. Talk back, and a prudent wife is from the Lord. A smart woman. A smart girl. A smart woman, a wise woman, a woman that's got a good head on her shoulders. A balance. Now, brothers, let me tell you why this is feeling good saying this. Because the reason why whosoever find a wife, because what's on the outside, that Coca-Cola bottle, don't always match what's on the inside. You can be attracted to the Coca-Cola bottle, or you might be attracted to a 1 liter. As long as you just want a prudent one. You can't say nothing about whether she's a liter or a Coca-Cola or watermelon. I don't know. So you want to find a prudent woman, smart, witty, sharp, intellectual. You want to find that because that's going to compliment you. It's going to help you. You don't want a goofy girl. You don't want a silly girl. You don't want a girl that lacks all your jokes. Because she's going to keep you acting a fool. Steve Harvey and his new wife. There's a lot of history behind him and his first wife, but his new wife. And everybody remembers Steve Harvey used to wear them suits down like my dress. He said the woman he's married to now, his wife now, that he shared his story, and this is both their second time around being married, but he said she changed me because she added sophistication to me. She was a classier woman, or classy. And so she said to him, she said, you're only going to be able to keep going so far in kind of suits. She said something like that to him, which made him start refining himself. Because you want to marry a woman that wants the best for you. Right. That is interested in the best for you. Because women, by nature, can be very selfish. Y'all not going to say amen. Now, think about Pastor Bennett. I try to be a very fair teacher. So, like, I can rebuke myself. I can talk about myself. Women, we're very selfish by nature. We can be very needy. It can always be all about us. Are y'all listening to me? That's just part of our nature. So when you find a girl that's interested in you, that cares about your interests, that listens, that I don't know, that heard you say something about a certain show or something, and then they surprise you with tickets to that kind of thing. That means they're listening and they care about you. Are y'all working with me? A prudent woman, a smart woman that's going somewhere. You don't want a lazy woman. Oh, God. Why is it so quiet? It matters that you have a woman that's got some sort of domestic qualities. That matters. Y'all, it's so quiet in here. It's so quiet. And it's still quiet. That's what's funny, Mr. Chair. They ain't laugh. It's still quiet. Because life skills is what y'all got to do together. Everybody gonna eat. Everybody gonna sleep. Everybody gonna get in the bed, get out of the bed. Everybody gonna use the toilet. Everybody gonna do this. So there's got to be some domestic qualities. That somebody care that this brown in our toilet shouldn't be there. And we flushed it and the brown is still. You got, and so I'm not giving a pass to the brothers. Y'all better understand that. I'm saying as I'm on the women's side, talking about men. But men, you want a female that has domestic qualities. I don't care about what they say, no matter, he's the husband, whatever they call them, house husbands, all that. Yeah, I get it. Circumstances can cause that. But you want a woman that knows how to have domestic qualities. It matters. Y'all not talking back to me. It matters that there's mold on the dishes in the sink. And she's saying what? It matters. It matters that the sheets are not satin, yet they're slick. It matters. It matters that the washcloth, it is a washcloth, right? Or is it a piece of cardboard? It matters. It matters. You want, and brothers, don't do it. Don't do it, brothers. Don't do it. Well, it's all right if she ain't that clean because I can clean. You're not going to always want to clean, brother. Right? Don't do it, brothers. I'm telling you right, don't you do it. Don't you? I said don't. It don't matter because I know how to clean. You ain't going to always want to clean. Some things is just going to be, isn't this the same pizza box from 2 days ago? It matters. So you want a prudent woman. These are things that's outside of that bedroom. Y'all better talk back to me. These are things that's outside of the bedroom. This is quality. These are the things that happen you're not going to have sex every day. Oh, I just love it because we love to work out and we love to camp. You ain't going to have time to go camping every day. Y'all not talking back to me. Real life. It's getting up, going to work, paying bills. I get these married folk over here just give me a little amen. That's real life. That's real life. You're going to get up, you got to go to work, you got to pay bills, cars won't break down, dishwasher ain't working, wash machine up, we got to get close. That's every day. And then get a kiss in while you can. That's real life. I'm not saying it's hard. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that's real life. So that whole fantasy that I like them because we both like to camp, it's so fun. Yeah, it's so family. We always go camping. Y'all always go camping, but then y'all go home. You ain't gonna camp though every day. I just we love to work out. You ain't even gonna work out every day. You're gonna get tired of working out every day when you get married. It's gonna change. Y'all not talking back to me. This is hard. Don't make me sweat. You want a prudent woman, smart. Watch her from afar. Notice her from afar. Notice tiny stuff. If you go out to eat, notice how does she do the table. Notice tiny stuff. I don't know. When you go out to eat, does she care that there's sugar or something spilled on the table? Or does she just keep talking over it? Little stuff. Does she try to wipe it, move things out of the way, prepare it for the server? It's tiny stuff. Because it's who she is. I'm talking to women right now. It's who she is. It's tiny stuff. It's tiny stuff. Like how nasty is her car? It's tiny stuff. Hey, and you open the door. Oh, sorry. Yeah, hold on. It's tiny stuff. I was saying these real these rams. It's tiny stuff. These are tiny things. I said, man, I just don't understand why you're making that such a big deal. I'm making it such a big deal because your education has nothing to do with how clean you are. Your degree has nothing to do with it. Yeah, your promotion, your CEO status. None of that means anything when you go home. When you go home, it's home. When you go home, we both gotta live. You ain't telling me about your, I don't see no PowerPoint. What are you doing? What are you doing? Because we're home. And home is where everybody should relax. Home is where everybody feels comfortable. And everybody should feel clean and comfortable. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone because I see it's not working. Next one. So your wife, brothers, it equals favor. And I know some of you single brothers are doing well, thriving. And I'm not questioning your future. I'm not even questioning whether you're a eunuch or not. We haven't, hear about many of those. That's the person that ain't never done nothing, have no desire to do anything, and not looking to do anything. Oh, my, Sister Georgia. Yeah, that's that person. So I don't know of any yet, but if you have any interest for girls or anything like that, that's probably a sign you're not one, that you're not a eunuch. So favor, wife, equals favor. That's what that means. Is that when you find a good woman, favor comes to your life. Doors start opening. It begins to form you as a man. You begin to get defined when you gain a wife. Singlehood does not define your manhood. Because anybody can be responsible for themselves. But when you take on another person, that begins to define you as a man. If you look at homes, what's funny is there's a tradition that I think it's just going to be what it is. If that family is struggling, they're going to look at that man. If those kids and wife look like they're having hard times being evicted from one place to another, they're going to look at that man. They're not going to calculate that the woman could have took all his money. Y'all hear what I'm saying? They're not going to calculate that. They're going to calculate he must didn't take good care of them. So when you marry, brothers, it begins to define what kind of man you are and your ability. Now, here's what's real deep. It just is what it is. At the highest points of corporate America, and the more you move in corporate America, forget corporate America, sometimes on just normal levels of management or normal levels of employment, men are revered a little differently when they have family. This is real talk, because it says you're responsible. It just puts another level of dignity to you. It puts another level of wholeness. It says you're stable. It says that you're able to settle. It says that you're able to be responsible. All those things are the subliminal messages when a man marries. It says that he's stable, he's settled, he's responsible, he's able to manage things. So when a man finds a wife, he finds favor, and then doors begin to open because the power couples begin. Next slide. So a wife should not bring you agony or contention or confusion or frustration or irritation or competition or I just figured y'all can put in your own whatever you can't stand. But she should bring favor. And that should make you happy. You should find pleasure in it. You should find fulfillment in it. You should find that kind of thing. Don't be with a girl that you're looking to find it. Be with the girl that you found it. And there's little things, little arguments become big arguments when you're married. So don't ignore little things that y'all have spats about in this courting stage or in your beginning to know her stage. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. The little things that get on your nerve, they will get big when y'all get married. Mrs. Terry, I'm going to ask you to be my amen corner tonight because you're married. Thank you. Those little things, they grow. Thank you very much. Thank you. Jake's called them 80-20. And Jake said, Bishop Jake's, pardon me for being so common. Bishop Jake says that you're never going to get 100% of anything in life. You're never going to get 100% of the car you want, 100% of the house you want, and that's including relationships. It's like 80-20. So I would take that 80-20. And I would dare to say that, but I wouldn't even do that ratio. I would try to be at 100. I would try to be at 99. Because once you get married, that 80-20 can easily become 70-30. And then 60-40. Lord help us, 50. It can easily flip. Are y'all listening to me? Because you kept saying, that'll do. Oh, that's okay. Oh, I know she's that way, but. Or I know she kind of did, but. Don't keep doing that. After a while, you need to pull that butt back. And take a good look. Take a good look. Because those are little nuances that understand that when we are all in whatever courtship stage, or whatever stage we are getting to know one another, be honest with yourself. Do you really let all your guards down? Now, why y'all all gonna act like you've never dated? I don't know, Pastor, I'm still a virgin. I'm waiting to have a date. Yeah, come on, y'all. When you're talking to somebody or you think you like somebody, do you really let all your guards down?
No.
So they don't either. So you're not even seeing the real them. And as the saying goes, you don't know a person until you live with them. So you ain't even, listen, I think it's funny. There are people that have shacked for years, get married and get a divorce. Because somewhere them guards still went all the way down. Because there was no true commitment yet.
That's right.
So you don't want to ignore the little stuff, nor do you want to make it a big deal. You feel what I'm saying? So there's got to be more about them I like than I dislike. Yes? Yes? Okay. Keep it moving. Next slide. Ooh, this is so hard. So righteous women. A righteous woman. Well, of course, the Bible talks about a virtuous woman, and that's because of her qualities, as I was talking about before. We want her to have some love. And let me explain why, brothers. In spite of her degree, and she's being educated, I think that's wonderful, and I'm all for that. Degrees, I'm all for going to get your promotion. I'm all for being the CEO of Amazon. Whatever your goal is, I'm all for it. But the reality is, we're the mothers, and we may become pregnant and bear children.
That's right.
And you don't know what complications can happen, or you may have a wonderful marriage or a wonderful child, but do you really want your child to be going to Amazon to work with you? I know it's a popular thing that a lot of women are doing today, but does that stabilize the child? You want to build a home for children. I could go on a whole other subject about children, but I'm not. But it is very important that before you say I do to whomever, you have candid conversations about what those expectations are with children. Not only if you want to have them, and not only how many you think you want to have, but what are we going to do? Do you want me to stay home and raise your children? Because these are things that some men may never talk about because they just assume you're going to do that anyway and didn't know that you was thinking, no, I thought you was going to stay home. I make the most money. Y'all not talking that to you. And these are conversations that didn't happen, and now there's confusion because the child is here. Now she feels deprived from her career. And he said, well, don't you want to stay home with your child? So a virtuous woman has that kind of quality that there's nothing more important to her than her family be built. Because careers will come and go. Talk back to me. But your children, that's a lifetime investment. I'm going to divert a little bit. I was so blessed yesterday. I had my great niece that I've only met twice. Her mom and I we were childhood friends. Mother Sachs, my spiritual teacher. Her niece, Tamika and I grew up together like all the little kids around the church. And Tamika and I were always super duper tight. Like we were so close that, I don't know if y'all remember this movie one time where they stuck blood, they stick their pen, and they were blood sisters. So she and I, at 8 years old, however we were, we went in the back and we found a nail from a tambourine. And I think about it, we could have had poison. Anyway, we took a nail from a tambourine and we stuck our fingers and we rubbed them together so we could be blood sisters. Love her to pieces. She lives in LA. Her husband is in the industry. He does different things behind the scenes in the industry. So my husband catered an event for them. And I met her family. It's like, she chose us to do the event, which was wonderful. And it was one of the first times I met her family, met her children, met her daughters, and we vibed a little bit, but it was no big conversation. Well, her daughter is getting married, and they called me and said, Auntie, would you counsel us? It's like, yeah. And if you could you marry us? I was like, yeah, after I counsel you and see. Sure. So we counseled the other day. And what a delightful surprise. So the young man, I said, well, where is he? Well, he plays for Casey and the Sunshine Band. Travels all over the world. And I said, I thought they were on canes. They're still alive. And he goes, so, very much so. And he goes, so, he's a keyboard player for Casey and the Sunshine Band. So we did a Skype yesterday. So I'm meeting this young man for the first time. I'm meeting my great niece and saying, wow, okay, let's start. This young man, I can't lie, again, what do we just be careful how you judge. This young man began to give his story of how God started dealing with him some years ago. He said, I just wanted to get my walk with God closer. He said, so I started changing things. He said, I started coming out of certain relationships. He said, I just wanted to find a girl that I could be comfortable with. Y'all stay with me? Stay with me. So he said he met her. He said she was nice and everything. He said, but he said, I was coming closer to God, and I knew she didn't know God. Okay, well, I didn't say he perfected his thing with God, but he was coming close to God. So anyway, they got a baby. Anywho, so he said, but I know, let me hope I can word it right. He said, but I can't represent God to her if I don't start walking like God.
Come on.
He said, so I want to marry because I want to do the right thing. He said, my conscience is bothering me. He said, because I know I'm not really showing her what a godly man should be. So while he's going on tour, Singapore, all these different places, she said she started getting curious because he was so serious about this God thing. So then she found this little prayer group. And in the home, they started doing Bible study. And he said when he started coming home, he said, I'm watching her read the word. He said, and then we started having Bible conversations. And the word comes. I was just so blessed. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? Because he declared, I cannot move forward in our shacking environment. And I need God to forgive me for that. He said, but I'm letting God know I'm determined to walk like a man of God and carry my family into that. So he said, I don't want her to work. So we have a 1-year-old son. He said, and I asked her, I said, listen, what are you doing? I asked her, he said, I have a 1-year-old son. He said, but I don't want her to work. He said, not right now. He said, because I don't trust these daycares. He said, I don't trust people what they're doing. He said, her mom works, so she can't. He said, and I said, well, how do you feel about that? Listen, she said, he's becoming my rock. She said, and I don't mind being home. She said, because he takes good care of us. She said, and it's more important to both of us that our son is raised in this same environment, because I don't know what other influences people are having. Now, let me tell you why all this got me. It's because they're like 24.
Wow.
They're like 24, 25. And when I tell you, y'all, we better leave God alone and let God be God, because he's dealing with folks of all kinds of levels and all kinds of ways. So I told him, I said, son, you done backed me up against the corner, man. I can't do anything but bless this. Because you're trying to do what's right by God. And we know the word. If you honor me, I'll honor you. So you want a woman that's not going to fight you. Go back. When you understand, men of God, here we go. When you understand that you have been created to lead. Every man have been created to lead. And when you understand that, you look for the companion that works with me to lead. Don't fight me. Don't compete with me. Don't pull at me or pull me down. help me with what I see for us to lead. Are y'all listening? Problem is, sisters, is that you take these principles, and the problem I have with believing brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, is that you take these godly principles and you try to make it work with an unbeliever. So you end up submitting yourselves, women, to a dude that can't lead you in a righteous way. And you become this passive, submissive. You bring all of these qualities. You bring all of these virtues to a man that have no idea what to do with it. Y'all not going to let me work it. Because you're expecting something of him that if he don't know who he is, and if he don't know who God is, he can't take you. He cannot take you. Same thing. And then brothers, you hear this, and you want this kind of quality of a woman, so then you end up treating the heifers in the street like a queen. And she can't appreciate what you're doing. And she's stumbled. And now you're used. And that's what keeps happening, that I'm saying, just let God be God. Let God draw him or let God draw her so we can come together with one vision, with one understanding, because we both know who we are in Jesus Christ. Come on, say that. Let me not say it. Love this story. So these scriptures, please read these stories. Please read these stories. The story of Abigail, 1 Samuel 25:18. Please read these stories. So Abigail is married to a man named Paul, who was a foolish man, a very rich man, but a foolish man. And I dare to say that she could have married him because he was rich, because he had money, but he didn't have good substance. He was a foolish man. David was in battle. David was running from Saul. David was trying to find some place. He had actually saved some of Nabal's land and people, and so he felt like he owed him something. So he came to his house. He and his boys said, "Dude, we are so hungry, man. Can we use your restaurant for a minute? Can we get something to eat? We've been waiting." He said, Nabal said, "No, I ain't giving him nothing." David said, "What did he say?" He and his boys said, "Oh, David said, he ain't giving us nothing." David said, "Give me a minute." So David and his boys, they get together, they go and take him out. But Abigail go in the house, and she get that fried chicken left over, she warm it up, so it's nice. She get that macaroni and cheese, she gonna pull everything out. She said, "David, my servant," watch what she did. I'm paraphrasing the story, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. Please read the story. She said to David, "David, do you really want to take my foolish husband out when you've been called to be king?"
Lord Jesus.
She said, "Do you really want that blood on your hands?" In other words, my husband ain't worth the calling that God had put on your life. So what did Abigail do? She was wise enough, she was prudent enough to guard David's calling. Man of God, you want that female. You want that female that's conscious of the God in you and your destiny. You want that female that is sensitive to things in God and what your desire is in God and what you're supposed to be in God. You don't want that female that, don't take all that. You don't want her. You want the one that you see, the Lord was dealing with me. Yes. What does the Lord say? You want the female that's conscious that your purpose is that you're a godly man. Read the story. Abigail. Next one. So, now, then there were foolish women, like Job's wife. And as soon as her Amex cards weren't working no more, as soon as Neiman Marcus told her that her account was closed, she got tired of Job's suffering. She said, "Why don't you just curse God and die?" Watch the women that's only happy when you got money.
Come on.
And all they're happy about is what you can do for them. Or you can take them. You know what you ought to do sometime? You ought to dress up and say, "Going out to eat." And then take take the in and out. See what she said. See how she quit taking her to the kitchen and Ellen's and all the places all the time trying to press her. Every now and again, take her shares. Denny's, Mel's Diet. Tell her I'm on a budget. We're on a budget. Can we share a meal? We'll take the kids' chicken and fries, please. See how she feels. See how she feels. Just try. Just try it. See how she feels. As long as you keep trying to be big dog. Bad on. Hey, now stop banging her so much on it. Y'all ain't married yet. Quit banging everything designer. Every now and then get a nice teddy bear from Walmart. And the Walmart tag is still on it. See if she's appreciative. And she'll say, this is the best teddy bear ever. Put it in her dashboard. She's so proud of it. You found it in that trunk? You found that teddy bear? No, sisters look like basketball. Every time you always buying her stuff, always stop going in debt. You ain't even married yet. Why you buying that Mercedes to please her? Get a nice used Honda's one of the best things out there. The older they are, the better they break up. Just for the sake, get a nice used Honda. Pull up in it. And open the door. Open the door. See how she reacts. Do you want to do a luxury Uber? No. Luxury Uber? Oh. Just see. Just try. Just some things, brothers, don't be no fool. Y'all ain't say, can I get some brothers say amen? Amen? Just don't be no fool, bro. Watch that woman, that Job's wife. Just watch her. And all she's interested in is what you can offer. Just watch the one that you ain't even talked about already. She talking about living in Eldorado Hills. You need to take it over park. Tell her you want to refurbish a house. I want to be a nice fixer up. Just see how she reacts. Just see. Little things. Don't give your heart. Maybe I'm trying to be too formal. Maybe I just need to let it go. Brothers, please. Don't tell that woman no everything.
Come on, Pastor.
Y'all have some bad experience. There's only two brothers left. Don't tell that woman that ain't made no covenant with you, that ain't made no vow with you. Don't tell her no everything. Because we are vicious. We are vicious. And if we don't get good Jesus, that thing will boomerang. She gonna use it. You don't know her like that. See, but just okay, I had everything down. Don't tell her no everything. Don't tell her no everything. He did like Daddy. Oh, what he did to me. Don't tell her no everything. All you want to be is a hero in the beginning. Because we gonna find out anyway. When you pour out dummy Samson, when you get in the lap of that heifer, and she gets you rubbing your head, that's why I said you better leave that intimacy alone. You are too vulnerable.
Come on, Pastor.
And you told her too much of your heart, where she ain't got no covenant to have to keep it. So you get a wife. The Bible said the heart of her husband safely trust. Because the covenant said, I got you, baby. And we kicking that devil butt for what he did to you. Yeah, power couple. That's what wife. But you don't give your heart. Don't be no fool. Samson's wife. She betrayed the secret. Not only Delilah, but the first heifer. He had this riddle, see. And there was these people there, he said, okay, if you can tell me this riddle, he'd kill something, an animal. I can't remember the whole story, sorry, I can read it, there's a scripture. He killed an animal or something. He said, okay, if you can answer my riddle, I'll give you all my stuff. But if you can't answer the riddle, I'll get all your stuff. And they said, okay. So they couldn't figure it out. So they went to his wife. Yes, they went to his wife, who knew everything. So they go to the wife. So do you know the answer to the riddle, huh? Do you know the answer to it? If you don't tell us, we're going to kill you and your family. She cried day after day after day till finally Samson told her the riddle. She went right back to her husband's enemy and told him. Because men, y'all can talk too much too. You tell too much. And then you wonder why she's looking at you goofy. See, as my husband liked to say, we do like Superman. Women do. Y'all say amen. Amen. Women like a Superman. And it's okay if you can't jump high. Just don't let us know all your weakness. I'm not going to take this back. Just don't tell it all, because they women are vicious. Honey, that's not about me and you, though. I got you back. Anywho, that's why I see moving here. Women! You too. You got to understand who you are. Okay? Don't leave. Social media, stay with me. Don't leave. Same scripture, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and talk back. Okay, only Sister Georgia. Let's do this again. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is his man. Sisters, don't regurgitate. Say it again. And the head of the woman is his man. And the head of the woman. Christ. Okay, and the head of Christ is next slide. Here we go. Next slide. So understanding that, and the rib, here we go. Here's how God did this. And the rib, which the Lord God had taken from man, made he what? Yes, and brought her what? Ain't that beautiful? Ain't that beautiful? He took us from the rib of a man, and somebody put it, God took man and made him from the dust, and that's the reason why men are hard workers and things, and then he made women from the rib, and somebody put it, and said that's why they have this soft and this tenderness from them, because they come from the softness of a man's side. I like that. Next verse, here, next slide, here we go. So God, but watch this. So God created man in his own image, and in the image of God created what? Him. How did he do it? How did he do it? How did he do it? Created he. So while I made woman from the side, I still have made them equal as one. Talk back to me. That's the power of a couple. It's because the two become one. Now, how can I say this? Help me, Lord, please. Now, there is a chemistry and there is a DNA between man and woman that can't be erased. And that chemistry is the balance of a successful marriage. I don't have the adamantcy or the irritation about same-sex marriages. It doesn't bother me because that's their thing. It does not change the principle. Y'all understand? I don't have to protest it. That's your thing. The principle of God putting a man and a woman together is because they both have specific DNAs, specific chemistries, that those chemistries together brings balance. There is no balance with me and myself. The balance that God created man and woman is so that families and everything can keep getting raised with a balance. Two women can't have the mindset of what it takes to raise a man. Talk back to me. No, don't back, because I'm not bashing it. I'm giving you God's principle. You can't, because you don't have the chemistry to understand what it is to be a man. Two men cannot successfully raise a little girl because you don't have the chemistry of a woman. But if there's a man I don't believe it. Bark. Like a big dog. Ruff. Ruff. And it's not the definition of submission. Here we go. I love this part. I love this part. But sisters, you marry a man that don't know where he's going and don't know what he's doing, then what are you going to do? Because that means y'all ain't going nowhere. And y'all ain't going to do nothing. A man that does not have purpose for his own life will have no purpose for yours. And so, you keep dreaming, and you keep hoping he going to get a vision. I highly recommend you keep it moving until he does. Okay, watch this next slide. It's going to be good. Here we go. Husbands, watch this. He says, so husbands, I want you to love your wife, even as Christ also loved the church. And he did what, everybody? He did what, everybody? He sacrificed. Well, the church. Next verse, next one. Here we go, next slide. Here we go. So ought men, this is so good. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. And he that loveth his wife loveth himself. Let's say that again together. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. Read that again. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but he nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church. Next slide. Here we go. So sisters, as a man treats himself, that's how he gonna treat you. So the damaging myth that so many women have failed to is I can change.
Lord Jesus.
You can't. So sisters, if you want to know what kind of man and what kind of potential marriage and family you will have, just look at him. And if he ain't doing nothing in his own life, he ain't gonna do nothing with yours. If he's irresponsible in his own life, he's gonna be irresponsible with you. If he can't keep a job for his own life, as he do unto him, he gonna do to you. If he's nasty with his own body, I just think about bagging some suits, it's gonna be nasty. He won't funky them up. This was so This was so wild to me. It was such an aha moment. So it ain't a mystery. What you see is what you gonna get. And you can try to help them, and I'm gonna change them. No, you're not. If they always got a good vision that never happened, they don't do your money like that. When y'all get married, y'all not talking that. What you see is what you're going to get. What I loved about my husband was he was already doing stuff. He was already this executive chef. He had already owned his own restaurant by the time he was 26. So I knew we can do some stuff. Of course we talked, but let me tell you what I started doing. I went to the restaurant to observe how the employees treated him. Because I know you're going to treat me nice, because you want me. So what I did was, I wanted to see how much did the servers respect him. I wanted to see how his boss responded to him. Because I knew they really know him. Because he got to work with them every day. Are y'all understanding this, sisters? So if you're dealing with a dude that's got an attitude with everybody, he going to have an attitude with you. and everything you do. If you deal with a dude that everybody's against him and the whole earth is something wrong with it, that's why I can't succeed, y'all not talking back to me. And guess what? You're going to be against them. And y'all ain't going to succeed. This blew my mind. I was like, I've seen the scripture all my life. And he said, don't make them understand. What they see is what they get. Brothers, this is why you got to find the female. When you are trying to do something and got yourself together, she needs to be doing something and get herself together. Balance is we both trying to do something. Next one, here we go. This class is not like what I thought. Hold on. A man should love the wife more than the wife. Love the husband. Because you got to bear with us. And we're vulnerable. And we're fragile. And we're weak. And sisters, again, I must tell you, your degree does not change your vulnerability. It doesn't change you from being weak. It doesn't change you from being oversensitive. So you want a man that's more into you than you are in him. And if you always chasing him down, you always, hey, I was thinking we could go somewhere this weekend. Oh, I'll see. Delete that number. And I'm not saying be cold-blooded. Y'all know what I'm saying. But you want to monitor. How much are they really into you? Because they got to cover you. And brothers, you want the female that you want to cover. You want the girl. There's nothing Minister Terry won't do for Vivian.
That's right.
Because he loves her. And for him, she's worth fighting for. That was pretty. That's what it should be. Brothers, this is the girl she's worth fighting for. Girls, it's the man that he's proven I'm worth fighting for. I ain't saying be stupid and don't call, don't talk. Y'all get what I'm saying? But it's the mutuality and understanding he really, the man that makes all kind of excuses, he gonna do that when y'all get married. The man that never could get to, can I work this for a minute? Every reason under the sun he can't get to Jesus, he's sure he'll get to Jesus when y'all get married. Please let me make that clear. If he don't get to Jesus before y'all married, he's not going to, I don't say he's never going to get to Jesus. But why? I got you.
He got you.
It's all good. Brothers, talk back to me.
He
Just,
got you.
ooh, sweating. Husband understands in a God that is sacrifice. Because you're giving your life for your wife. You're giving your life for your children. And sisters, you don't want a selfish man. You don't want an inconsiderate man. Because if he's inconsiderate now, if it's all about him now, it's going to be that when y'all married. Here we go. Next slide. So an honorable man is a man like Jacob, who wanted Leah so bad. And again, please read these scriptures. Genesis 20. I can't read it. 29. He wanted Rachel so bad, he was willing to work 14 years, because that's how bad I want her. Woo! I was told by Mom Winans, who had 7 sons, and was married, I think, 50-something years. I was told by Mom Winans, Tammy, women think men ain't, they don't want to get married, they can't. She said, a man is more sure when he finds the right girl than a woman is. And when he finds her, he snatches her because he don't want to lose her. She said, women, well, he's cute, but a man, when his heart clicked with a girl, and that was Jacob. Another honorable man was Job. You know why? Because in the midst of trouble, Job stayed with God. Sisters, your friend, whoever you're interested in, what does he do when he's in trouble? How does he react in hardship? And if cannabis is his way out now, Heineken is his way of relief. Now, that's going home, baby. It's going home. You want to know what is his strength? What is his rock? How does he get help? This ain't something you can ask. So what you do when you stress? What? You can't ask me that. It's something you got to observe. You got to hear how they talk. Next slide. Going in. Foolish man was Solomon. Because Solomon loved whorish women. Please read that in 1 Kings 11:3. Solomon had 700 wives, 300 concubines. That day will never come back again. That day is never. Women ain't gonna let that day. He said 7 to 1, but I don't know about 700. I won't make this as an absolute, and nothing I've said tonight, I'm not making these things as absolute. I'm trying to get parallels, I'm trying to get examples based on the word. If a man does not conquer, and I've said this over the pulpit, if a man or woman, you don't conquer fornication in your singlehood, you will be highly tempted to commit adultery in your marriage. You've got to conquer that I preserve my body only unto God. So that when the Lord bless you to marry, you're already in that preservative mode. That I am preserved to one man. That I'm preserved to one woman. But if you've allowed yourself to have an appetite for multiple partners, male or female, 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 male, male, whatever your choice is, you got to conquer that incontinence spirit. You cannot use marriage as my scapegoat so I can quit sleeping around. It's not going to work. I better get married, girl. I better get some. No, get up. You want to conquer that incontinent spirit. And you want to learn how to consecrate your members so that you can give it only unto God. So that when you marry, I'm preserved for one. Let me tell you about Jesus Christ. When we ask the Lord to forgive us of our sins, then old things are passed away. In God's eyesight, you are a virgin again. Not one clap. Hallelujah! I'm such a whore! Nobody's supposed to say everybody's like, y'all working me tonight. Old things are passed away. It ain't like bike. You never forget how to ride a bike. It ain't like old things are passed away. It's like you don't forget. Our founder used to say, for some folk, if you don't never get done, you've had enough. You want to conquer a whorish spirit. Let me tell you, it is called whorish. They can have whatever slang they want. It's called a whorish spirit when you sleep from one person to another, to another, to another. It's called whorish, and that is the mother harlot that have been birthed in our earth. That is commonplace. It means nothing to sleep from a person. No consciousness of preservation. No conscious of wholeness and keeping myself for one person. And when we get saved, you got to put that flesh on the altar for God to wash it and get all that pervertedness out of my mind and all that hurt. So there's something. You want all that, because if I'm believing God for a happy future, then I'm believing God for a man that will appreciate that, a woman that will appreciate that. Hallelujah. Yeah, don't bring Sally in the bed with me. Y'all not talking back to me. We're married now. So don't bring none of them spirits. Don't bring none of them. It's just me. All about me. Everything about me. Don't take those spirits with you in that marriage. You want to get a good washing, belly washing, fire hose washing, upspit, mad, anorexic, bulimia. So that you can start fresh. Don't take those demons and that. Don't do it. Don't take all those fantasies. That's not fair. That ain't even fair. Don't take no, create your own fantasy. You know, video, I wouldn't, but anyway, do your thing. Take your own fantasies and create your life together. Again, that's why you don't want to be unequally yoked. A dude from the street ain't gonna understand that. A girl from the street ain't gonna understand that. Y'all don't know the story about my daddy when he got saying came back and came told his friend, Chick, you know, I want Chick back. He said, Chick died. This is Jesse. He said, I don't want Jesse. He said, well, out of here. He said, Chick ain't never coming back. You ain't still whatever your nickname is. Smooth, baby. No, you're John. John, Smooth's supposed to die. Y'all not talking back to me. Kitty cat, baby. No, you're Rebecca. Those spirits gotta die. You can't take all that in your marriage you with. Call me Kitty. Call me Kitty. What? All that junk. How to get purged, washed, and peeled so we can start all over fresh. So you gotta get rid of a horse nature. You don't take that. You don't want that. It's not fair on either side. Another wise man, foolish man, was Ananias because he was a crook. He was a crook and he lied about his tithes and his offering. If that man, you see that dude you trying to talk to, whatever, he's doing crooked act now. They my real social good, like my cousin and ours is real close. So he gonna be crooked act when y'all get married. So he and my cousin, like his name is John Andrew, and I'm Andrew John, so we just said we could switch it up. No. You want a man that's got integrity. You want to, and let me tell y'all, sisters, please, I am begging you. I'm gonna get on my knees, but I am begging you. Oh God, Jesus, I'm begging you, girlfriend. If that is really the brother God wants you to have, leave that man to God. Let God finish making that man. And if that's the man God wants you to have, he ain't gonna see nobody else. Don't act desperate. He ain't gonna see nobody else. Because God wants you to his house. I'm gonna tell you the truth. The truth is, and I need some brothers to back me, Minister Harrison, and honey, can you back me? The truth is, a real man don't even want to go into a marriage if he ain't really together.
That's right.
Because he don't want to be exposed when they ain't together.
Come on.
So a real man wants space. Let me get this together. And so you keep howling him, so now you making him think I'm gonna lose my girl. Y'all not talking back. You'll make him think I'm gonna lose my girl. I'm just saying, we don't get married now. I'm just saying, we can date a long time. Leave that dude alone. You don't even know what he's got to do to get himself ready to be a man over a house. You don't know what he could be clearing up. You don't know what he got to work out. You don't know what time loose ends. Just got to get his last DNA test. I don't think that's my hood. You don't know what loose ends. You don't know what he got to do. You don't know what he's got to do to get ready. If he said he's interested, leave him alone. Let God draw him. Let God deal with him. Now, I love, God has been very blessed. He's been very fortunate to Elder Kim. And from jump, I'm so, finances have never been our struggle. God has just always blessed us. This is when I began to learn what kind of man he was. So, we were looking at houses. It was like not a plaything, but it was like, oh, let's look at these models. Oh, I like this. Oh, this is nice. Oh, and then every single time they would say something like, oh, you only need X amount of dollars to pay down. He's like, oh, I got that. It's like, okay. And it became like that the entire process. So I remember when we got like however many days before the actual sign. And so we're about to sign. He and our credits are coming together. Our monies are coming together. He said, hold on. He went to the lender on his own. And he wanted to know from the lender, what can I qualify for by myself without her? And so the lender came back and showed him how much, which it still was a decent amount. We could have got a house. He said, I just needed to know what I could qualify for by myself. So then I started saying, well, that's what he really want to do. And I submit to whatever he want to do. Because it was important to me that he felt, I got this. I got our family. Do you see what I'm saying? So I saw a lot. Okay, needless to say, we realized we had 2 kids and we wanted a bigger house, so we went with it together. But that's been my husband's integrity all the time. From jump, he said, I will always take care of you. And it doesn't matter what the church do, Tammy. I will always take care of you. And that has always been my life. And for 15 years, he has always taken care of me. You want to see a man's stand up and handle our life. You want to see that. You don't want to be the one always saying, we got to get our credit right. Well, I was just thinking if we could get up a savings plan for what? You don't want to be always the one. Sisters, y'all. Ooh, so y'all. You don't. You've got to see, feel him, understanding, I'm ready to take on a family. You must see that, sisters, before you ever say, not only I do, I'm thinking about it. Don't say nothing. Did I? Y'all quiet. Don't say I will. Don't say I do. I like you. That's all I know right now. You need to see that man prove I can handle our life. Now, sisters, let me tell you something. If it's a studio apartment, but it's a studio apartment he paid for, then be happy with your studio apartment until we do something bigger, because at least he took care of that. So you can't put pressure on him. Studio. It is just you and I. Yeah, I figured, it's good. It gives us time to save. It ain't a whole lot of money. We just get a sofa bed, maybe, or we can get a pulley. He got all kinds of this. Studio. You can't do that. Because if that's his way of saying, I got you for now, guess what? Girl, that's going to make it work even harder because he appreciates you appreciate what I'm trying to do for our lives. Small that. So I need brothers. It's not to see brothers. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Here we go. Next one. We got to pull it in. So, gender weaknesses. Men be seduced, and women can be fooled. Men can be seduced. Throughout the Bible, the Lord warns and shows countless stories of how great men are seduced. Whether it's Delilah, whether it's Bathsheba, whether it's a strange woman, women, men, you can be seduced because we were made for you. And so we know how to get your attention. We know how to pull you in. And brothers, if that becomes the only thing that you're drawn to, right now you might be seduced. She makes me tickle. Okay, happy for you. So we can be seduced because we're made for them. Women, you can be fooled. And we can be fooled because our judgment is off. Now, I'm going to say this, and I know I might get shots fired. And I dare to say that we don't have very accurate judgment because God created a man to lead us. I'm not saying we're stupid. I'm not saying we're dumb. I'm not saying we're naive. But our judgment can be off. That's why the Bible called us foolish women. Let's go to the scriptures now. Let's start from the very beginning. Men can be seduced. Isn't that what happened when Adam and Eve? She seduced them to take the fruit. Isn't that what happened with Eve? Her judgment was off, and she listened to the serpent. She was fooled. So women, if you're not careful, he'll say all the right things, and all you're blinded to is all the other signs are there, but you just listen to what he said, and it's going to get better. And he didn't mean it like that. He didn't mean to slap me. It was a reflex. I shouldn't have said what I said. I knew y'all could talk back to me. He didn't mean it to all those because you're fooled. Because you're fooled. And no matter what everybody else say, he got you. Everybody that loves you is warning you. Everybody that cares about you is telling you, but you're fooled. And men, when she get up in your emotions and start whispering those sweet things to your ear, no matter what people say around you, you can't hear us. Because she would never do that to me. Delilah, really? The one that you laid your head on, and you told too many of your secrets. Next slide. Yeah, I think that's it. So now, see if we're going to get some questions. I ain't got nothing to say first. Let's see if we can get And honey, if you don't mind, please, I know you have your office, please, and help me. Now think about Elder Q, if you've been around him in any length of time. What you know is, he going to make it all natural. He going to make everything make sense. I'm going to put you in the clouds, and he's going to help you land and make things make sense. So, I'm going to take advantage of him and Ms. Terry, and I guess that's it. And I'll duke it out for the women by myself for questions. So we're going to get 15 minutes, and for questions or statements or comments or concerns or what blessed you, what was highlighted to you, what made sense. Yes.
When you were talking about the whorish spirit,
I'm sorry. Do you mind saying your name instead so everybody can see? We're going to do this all night so everybody can know who everybody is.
my name is Ina, and
Hi, Ina.
I have a question in regards to getting rid and
Yes.
purifying yourself
Yes.
from that whorish spirit.
Yes.
How do you know when you do want to preserve your body for God? Is it when you just don't crave getting into like porn and masturbation, or your eyes just don't go places? How do you know when you're purified?
Excellent question. So, A, how do you know when you've worked your way through it? And it will be because desires will change. Cravings will change. We teach our young people about the 5 gates, the eyes, the ears, and so I'm saying that to say that there is a process that you got to walk your way out of lifestyles and walk your way out. For sure, there are absolutely services of deliverance that will, honest to God, get it out of your heart. But every man is tempted when he's drawn away from his own lust and enticed. So, if I can put this plug in, this is why you don't want a lot of experiences. Because you leave that door to have that many more temptations. So how do you know? Your desires will change. And I would dare to say that the desires change more towards God. When you think about the woman that was found in adultery, when you think about Mary Magdalene, the Bible said that she threw herself at the feet of Jesus. And she threw her emotions. She took her hair and she washed his feet with her hair. And she never said a word. All she did was weep at his feet. And she stayed at his feet from that time forward. The woman at the well, the Bible said that Jesus came, he said, I know that you've been with some man and the man you with ain't yours. He said, so I need you to go and drink from this fountain where it never runs dry. And so she said, go meet a man that knew everything about me. So I would dare to say that some of those first stages is when you become transparent with God, because it truly is only God that matters. It's only God that matters. And when you open up your heart to God, God will give you the freedom. God will lift the weight off. God takes the guilt and the shame. And it don't matter if I run into somebody I slept with last night. When God forgives me, it is forgiven in Jesus' name. And there's a freshness that comes. But like the woman, Mary Magdalene, I've got to stay at the feet of Jesus so that he'll keep me. I stay at the feet of Jesus so that I can learn more about my true purpose and my true identity. And then in God's timing, if that be his will, he'll send the man of God that will appreciate the woman that you have become and the woman that you are. That's what I think is so phenomenal about when we give our hearts to Christ. You're not who you were. And when God begins to take you through that cleansing and that washing, you can't have in your mind about the street and how you don't fit no more. I'm not part of you no more. I've left you. So God will give that man or that woman, the one that will appreciate the woman that you are now. I'm not, my husband and I have our own conversations, but I say to him all the time. So babe, you knew me in the world, you probably wouldn't have talked to me. So I'm so glad I'm saved because I'm the woman you fell in love with now. Another question. Yes.
Rusty. And so Stephen Martin. Hi. So this was really educational for me. And I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of things. Now, how does it apply to people who were in a marriage or were having a companion and now they're divorced and they're starting over?
Yeah. Everything about Stephen and your first one, he just got to die because she doesn't exist anymore with you. And that's the newness you got to take into your new marriage. As I was preparing, I was saying, Lord, I forgot, people starting over. He said, tell them everything about the past has to die because you're not going to be with her anymore. And so even negative things, good or bad, but any negative thing that she put in your face and may have beat you down or whatever, you're not that man. And you can't take that defense into a new relationship and think she's going to do the same thing. So I would highly say that anybody that's starting over, you got to make sure the residue of that previous marriage is over. And that you're a new person, and that you're a new man, and that you can learn. I think that's huge, that you can retract what you could have done differently. If this have blessed you, it is saying that's where I missed it there. Oh, I should have been on point there. So now I've got an opportunity actually to start all over again, which is wonderful, with a woman that'll know you for now, that'll know who you are. Even with widows, if I can share my own experience, when my first husband died, he died in June, July, the church went on a prayer fast, and then in August I went away with my sister, September, October I went away to Tahoe, and I went away for a retreat, because then I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do with my life? And I remember so distinctively, I sat at the lake, I was on the bench, it was cold, and I was wrapped up, and I said to the Lord, I said, it's just you and I now. And I said, so Lord, for the rest of my life, it's you and I. What do you want to do? I wasn't going to go back to the airline. I knew I was supposed to stay in ministry. And I said, Lord, it's just you and I. And I remember letting myself go and saying, it's just you and I. What are you going to do? I then left there and I went to my former husband's grave. And I went to his grave and I was weeping and crying. And I looked at his grave and I said, Tamara Curlin has died with you. And she will never be back again. Because I was the wife he needed. But he's dead now. So I will never be her again. And I remember getting my own visual of laying in the grave with him. And that's where she's been. And from that point on, I let God and I create this new whomever, whatever God is asking. So there's similar things like that with divorce. I mean, you can have kids involved in things, but you've got to declare that I'm not that person anymore. And so I will learn what I could have done differently so that I can be a better man, so that whomever the Lord bless you with, it can be a brand new start. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes.
Hi, I'm Melody.
Hi, Melody.
I thought it was very important that you had said about how good women should have to learn a man.
Yes.
Because on my first first husband, we got married and we had 4 children, but I didn't know him enough to leave my children with him.
I understand.
Because he abused my children. And you just got to pray and know,
Yeah.
you know, for yourself that
Yeah.
this is it. Because once he's married,
Yeah.
you know, it's too late.
Yeah.
You know, you got to know
Yeah.
ahead of time.
Yeah.
So I thank you.
That's very good. Amen. I appreciate that. Yeah. Because the truth is that marriage is not, you know, I know divorce is what it is, but in God's eye, when you make that covenant, it's a covenant. It's a covenant between you and God and this person, and she's right. You don't want to, that's why you don't want to treat it lightly. You know, people's lives, some get wrecked and never get mended from bad marriages. Children's lives get shattered and never get mended. Some of us are shattered because of our families. Because of our parents. Tell the truth. Dana! Come on. You don't make me run off. Oh, wait, the same thing. Yeah, the same thing.
So I think the spiritual aspect that you're supposed to know, you're supposed to marry, different things. But you reference Jay-Z and Beyonce as
Okay.
a power couple.
Okay, yes.
So you have daughters as well as you have sons at different stages in their lives.
Yes.
So I don't want you to pull up the Honda at 40.
Say that again.
I don't want you to pull up the Honda at
Oh,
40.
right. I feel you.
So-
That's good. That's good.
I mean,
That's good. That's very good.
at this age,
Yes.
you should at least have lessons, I think, or, I ain't saying Tesla, I'm just saying, you should have, I'm just asking because sometimes it seems like we get, and I say we, like the women we get, you know, looked at funny and we looking for, we need the J-O-B, the H-E-T, the H-O-S-U-E, whatever it is. I need you to have that, and I think it's okay for us to want that when you're at a different stage. If he's gonna look for something different, than I am.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna look for something different than Sister Georgia.
Right.
So how do we, or how can you more explain to the daughters that you have at different stages and sons?
Yeah. No, that's all fair. That's a very fair. And the point is, everybody's at different stages. So what works for a 20-year-old is not the same expectation of a 40-year-old. And for you, you know, and it'll say, as soon as you say, you know, well, I don't want to have a Honda, I want to have a, you know, Lexus or something, and if that's your expectation, then it'll be the brother that gives you that expectation. But would the Honda really have the bearing on whether y'all will come together or not? Because that becomes the struggle. The struggle becomes that the man at 40, you don't know the journey that could have happened in his life of why he don't have that at 40. And it doesn't take away from him not being a man of substance. Okay, yes, you're saying something. I told you, he's alive. He's alive.
Let's struck a pose.
I'm sorry. I was trying not to say that. It's okay. I was going to sit down and not say that. But no. I'm making out.
Go ahead.
The reason is because sometimes a man will pause his desires waiting on that next level. Just because I don't drive a Lexus, don't mean I don't desire a Lexus. Right? You feel me? So you can't say because I drive a Honda that I'm not worthy of you. Then you miss it. Because I got Lexus money. You feel me? I don't want anybody to get it twisted. Because I'm not driving a Lexus don't mean I don't want one or I can't afford one. You feel me? So don't let what I drive dictate how you treat me. Right. Then you miss it.
because that's what happened. He was a man starting over, and he was working at his job, and he was good. He always, and still do, have better credit. He's finishing.
Okay, if we want to be real, right? We want to be real, right? Like, y'all already know, right? No, I'm good. So y'all want to be real, right? Because, you know, my thing is, you know, just because you see me like this, there's a lot about me that you don't see. Men are not going to show you everything, right? Because once we show you, we're vulnerable. You can crush our heart, and we're not going to do it. You feel me? We're not. You got to earn that. You got to earn that. You can't just meet a dude and expect him to be all cuddly on your shoulders. Nah, man. Forget that. You got to earn this. And if you stick with me through the thick and the thin, and you earn me laying my head on your shoulder, you might get a tear. You might get a tear. And if you're worthy to get a man's tear on your shoulder, he gave you something. He gave you something. Don't ever, I'm serious, yes ma'am. I'm trying to sit down.
No. So at what stage?
You gotta say your name out there.
Sister Shabu. Hello everyone. So at what stage would you say, because for me, and I guess I am gauging it on maybe past experiences, I really don't want to struggle with anyone. Like that, like I'm not being funny. I need to know, like, where do you cut it off or gauge? How do you gauge that? I don't want to totally struggle, meaning you don't have anything. Like, I just can't do that.
I get it. Okay, so, wait, no, this is good. I got you. Where are you shopping at? If you want a nugget man, but you at pay less, guess what you're gonna get? You're gonna get a pay less man. That's what it is, right? You know what I'm saying? Now, there's a thing called courtship. During this process of courtship, you're supposed to be like, your desires, their desires, this is what I want, this is what you want. And if it's not there, you break that bad boy off before your emotions get tied up.
Come on.
Because once your emotions get tied up, trust me, he know when he got you. He knows. He ain't got to hit it, but he knows when he got you wrapped up. And I can drive 100 anything because I know you. I got you. So y'all females want to get y'all emotions all caught up? Dismiss me with that. Know when I got you. So you need to be careful. If you're looking for that type of dude that got his thing going on, when you meet him, check him out. What's surrounding him? I never want to be the biggest fish in my pond. If I'm the biggest fish in my pond's too small. And you need to balance, because I can't take you nowhere else. I may have a studio apartment now, but I'm always talking about that 8,000 square foot house that I'm gonna get. All I'm saying. Don't go to the point to where you see me and you judge me from where I'm at, but don't you lower your standards to where you don't think you can get what you really want, so you settle for this. Because if you lower your standards, you're always gonna get mediocre, man. And I'll tell you this, that a man, he'll go to the zenith and back if you his girl. He loves you. he'll do anything. He'll do anything. He'll fight anybody, he'll take a bullet for you, he'll take a stab for you, anything. If he loves you. There ain't nothing he won't do for you. So, I'm driving a Honda now. You want a Lexus? Alright. Now, let me tell you about this. I'm gonna sit down, I'm sorry. I'm gonna tell you about this. Let me tell you. So here's where some of you guys, it's all crazy because you tell a man you want that big house, you tell a man you want that Lexus, you tell a man you want that Mercedes, right? So in order to do that, I gotta put my nose to the ground. I gotta work. Now, if I'm working, that means I'm not home with you. Right? So which one you want, baby? You want me to work and get this for you? Or you want me to be at home cuddled up with you watching the movie? I can't do both. I can't do both. Now, the smart woman would be like, baby, go and get your grind on for a couple of years because, we gotta go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna put in this overtime. I'm gonna get this money. I'm gonna make this. I gotta stack it, man. I gotta stack it. And then a smart dude would be like, okay, woo, I'm wore out now. Let me take some Advil, go home, baby, rub my back, run the bath water, and let's lay up together. Because we got it now. The problem is, women want both.
Right.
And we can't give you both. Right. So now we stuck trying to figure out which one we're gonna give you.
Right.
And we are like bipolar, man. Like, oh, I'm work. Oh, no, I gotta go home. We can't do both. We can't do both. Y'all leave it to us to decide which one we're gonna do. And really, it's just really about what we're feeling at the moment, right? It's really about what we're feeling at the moment. If you're irritating us, we really gonna work. I'm saying though, man. I mean, that's real talk. I know I ain't got no big Bible scripture, I ain't got nothing to back it up, but that's real talk. I've been a man my whole life. Right? Ain't nothing about me no sissy. Right? I got 9 brothers. A host of uncles that I all learned from. They taught me game early. But this is real talk, man. Y'all can't do both. We can't do both. We confused. What do you want? You want the house? I gotta work for it. I don't mind it. I'm gonna grind for you. I'm gonna put it in for you. But God, man, when I get home, don't ask me where I've been. You know I've been working. I'm just saying. I'm working.
Keeping it real.
Is that what? No, Cynthia, what I want to say is that the same thing, and I could use some people as an example, but I don't want to put anybody in the spot. Is sisters, what we have to be careful of is that we do have these high expectations of our men that we desire, and we don't match their expectations. Because they have expectations too. So sisters, we gotta, the dudes with the Lexuses or whatever, they gonna want honeys that look good in my Lexus, that have the class of my Lexus. That's real talk. I wish I could get shaking. Can you thank you? Get somebody. So if I could just, I don't want to put, well, I'm gonna put Daniel on the spot for a quick moment. Anywho, Daniel's a hardworking man. His mom is the sweetest thing. So he comes from good stock. He had hard-working father. I'm saying, don't leave my son alone. I'm just, it sounds good to me. My point is, he's going to want a female to match that.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not a lazy man. He's a hard-working man. He's a clean man. We had that son he was with the other day, and I'm in the theater, we're doing, so everybody's gone. So I come out to the house, I'm looking in the kitchen. I said, babe, Daniel washed them dishes, didn't he? And he said, yeah, how you know? Because he's so meticulous. The way the spoons were perfectly lined up. I said, nobody does dishes like that. My point is, he's a clean man. So he's going to want a female that compliments him and that goes with, because sisters, it's true, it is. It's brothers want, what is it called, arm candy? I don't know what you call it. What y'all call it? Since you're using so much slang. What? That ain't cotton candy. You ain't saying cotton candy. Right. So, I'm saying that, sisters, to say, we've gotta make sure we look like something that should be in the Lexus. That's just real talk. If we're gonna keep it both ways. Men have expectations too. And Shabu has a question. That was all. Yeah. So I feel
I don't want to be judged. Not that, I don't
It's
think
okay.
I'm keeping it real. I'm not looking for a Lexus, so that's why I'm just saying because I've been in a relationship.
you don't want to be broke.
Yeah, I don't like, I'm over 40. I don't want to struggle like that. I don't mind if I get with somebody and things happen and we're building from this point on, but I'm not looking for a Lexus. I don't want anyone to think that I'm materialistic because I'm not the bomb. I look at my own shortcomings and I'm real about, who I am. So I'm just saying at what point then, because when he was speaking, it was making a lot of sense. So for me, I'm like, well, at what point will I say, well, maybe I should
set those standards.
Okay, but then am I going to be judged for setting that?
How can you be judged for setting your own standard?
You'll find, there will be a man that will appreciate, because Shabu's a good woman. She's a good, I'm serious. Why do you put the camera on? You will meet the man. There is a man that's going to appreciate the woman that you are, and he'll be at that standard. And same thing for you, Dave. Seriously, there's a man that, first of all, we're women of God. And we're godly women. And he promised us that no good thing will he withhold from us that walk upright. Sisters, work with me. He promised me that if we delight ourselves in him, he'll give us the desires of our heart. So he's not going to give you something that's not going to match where you are and where you have to go.
All right, so I'm going to switch it up just a little bit. This is more so geared towards the young adults.
Okay?
I'm asking for a friend. So what is it when you enjoy your freedom and you're not quick to settle down? Not saying that you don't want to, but you enjoy your freedom and you want to, because the age,
You feel young?
yeah, you feel young, you
Okay.
just want to chill, relax,
Yeah.
and you're not too quick to settle down.
Yeah.
Is anything wrong with that? Or, because, you get it from both ends. Oh, you need to marry. You may have a friend who father,
There's a friend.
pressuring him about having kids and whatnot. And I'm like, it's just much.
You mean your friend is
Right. So how do you balance that way? It's like, you want to chill, do you, but at the same time, you put an age limit where it's like, okay, maybe at this time I'll settle down and
You're a man. I need a man to answer that.
You can't put an age limit on love, man. You can't put an age limit on love. I'm gonna fall in love when I get 30. I'm gonna just trip when I come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Like, so what you're saying to me?
So much fall in love at a certain
Okay, so let's settle down.
Yeah, it's just like
Let's settle down.
have my fun.
So then here's what you're telling me, right? I love you.
No, his friend.
Your friend. You're saying your friend may be in love, but love, I'm gonna put you on pause. I'm gonna go over here and do me. I'll be back. And if love disappears while you're over here doing you, then what? Especially if that's the one God wants for you to have. And what are you waiting on? It's fear, bro. Settle down. Losing your identity. You know what I'm saying? Connecting with someone else's. Not really sure if I'm gonna like this. You know what I'm saying? We got us. I know me, I got me. But now you're talking about taking on something else. Hold on. What does that really mean? Like, I ain't even seen her toes yet. Do I like the toes? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, we got some issues. I'm seriously, like, we got some issues. Now, we got some issues. Like, we good with us. We good with us. We know us. We know everything about us. But now you're talking about, because if I like this person.
It is 9:45 p.m.
Yeah, I know.
And he wants to look down like that's not what
But just to finish out, that. But my thing is like, you know, if you're sure, and if you know that's it, right? You know what I'm saying? Come on, all right. I'm gonna lose a few points, right? I'm gonna lose a few dot points here. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there. All right, women, y'all listen. I'm gonna tell y'all a little conversation that the fellas have, right? Y'all we sitting to stop us. We just talking. These are the boys. Y'all don't know nothing about this. I'm gonna drop this on y'all, right? Now check this out. We got a list. Right? So typically the list goes something like this right here. They gotta have this person's hair. They gotta have eyes like this one. They gotta have
No.
they gotta have breasts like this, a booty like this. They gotta be. Hold on, let me finish. We got that list, right? We got that list. Seriously, every man has a list of what he wants that perfect 10 to be like. So when I meet you, how many do you check off? How many do you check off? Now, if you check off more than she check off, she gonna be my main squeeze. That's real talk. I'm just telling you, this is how
Mr.
I
Terry
play.
is saying it out loud, but he is not.
This is how it is, man. I thought y'all wanted to be real. Like, this is how it is. Like, there's a list, because, you know, we like all of these. This is the perfect 10. This is our perfect moment right here, right? We meet you. We got to compare you with that list. So what I'm saying to your friend, I'm saying to your friend that when you compare, that's your 10. What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Check. And the only thing that's not checked is what you're going to build together.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's real. That's real, man. That's real. You know what I'm saying? So, as a dude, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know. We may not say it, but we want you to say it with some version. We may not say it, but we know. Now it's just a matter of, as she said earlier, you know, we getting ourselves together. We gotta, I'm saying, I know, she was expensive. We go get another job. She was expensive. I gotta get that bank guy, I gotta stack him with it, you know. I wanna walk into the relationship leaning, you know. I
question. Hope I answered your question.
Well, comment first, I think this is amazing, especially godly perspective on relationships. Just all together, very. But the question I had is, when in a friendship or courtship, how do you know or determine what's carnal feelings and what's the favor of the calling of God?
Well, first of all, you gotta like the person, period. 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 The person you marry, you gotta like them, right? Period. Like, I like our conversations. I like being around. I can be in silence with them, and I can be in conversation. You have to like the person. And that's not spiritual nor carnal. It's just, it is what it is. You have to like the person. That there's no pressure in liking them. It's effortless. You know, conversations are easy, and things in common. It's not that you're trying to fake it. You know, I like chocolate. I like chocolate too, and really it breaks you out. It's like, it's okay. Yeah, I can't stand chocolate. What? I mean, like, I think that is the coolest. People say, ew, I hate that. And they be like, what? You can still gel. So I would say that number one is that you just have to like the person. You have to like being around them. They're easy. I need to put this on the highlight, man. Life is going to kick your behind. Yeah. And the last thing you need is to go home to somebody kicking your behind. Just So you want the person that's the easiest flow. He said, so he told me he had owned a restaurant in Bakersfield. This one we're getting closer and closer, and I'm feeling it, and so there's so much. I do want to tell this one. So, okay, I should put you up there.
Oh, hey, I'm out there now.
So, and sisters, I want to say this because this is real. And then, as your pastors, you need to know us and not assume us. So, yes, he was married before, and yes, he had had a divorce before, and there was a whole lot of stuff. And so when he knew we were getting serious, he wanted me to know everything for myself. So he called his former pastor, who was in Bakersfield, and said, I believe I want to marry again, and I'd like you to meet my future, the young lady I'm thinking of. This pastor was adamant, no, I don't want to have nothing to do with it. He said, I'm just asking you for a moment. We drove to Bakersfield, knocked on the pastor's door. The pastor had all kind of armor. I don't know what he did, but he had all kind of armor bearers at the house. Like somebody was going to jump off. We sat for 2.5 hours. And I let this pastor tell me about the man he used to know. And at the same time, I'm telling about the man I know. At the end of it, the pastor stopped. Literally, this is what happened. And he repented to the pastor. He said, I'm not taking this with me in my future marriage. He said, so whatever offenses I caused, I'm sorry. He said, but this is the woman I love, and I want to spend the rest of my life with. The pastor started off saying, it ain't never going to work. He said, sir, I'm sorry, but I cannot receive that. It is going to work. We talked. The pastor literally stopped and said, I'm hearing from God. I'm not lying. But he didn't have to say, he said, I'm hearing from God. The Father is telling me that the seed before didn't fall on the right ground. And the Father says, it's good ground now. You are going to be blessed. He said, and yes, Father. I mean, that's just, that's what he said. The Father told me to pray. And to pray for both of you, for your prosperity. He said, and soon after your marriage, God is going to open your womb. It's the gospel truth. It's the gospel truth. He took me to his old restaurant. I saw him because he told me he had one, but I had to see it to believe it. Sisters don't believe everything. So I wanted to see this old restaurant. He took me to the old restaurant that he used to own. I met the owners so I could hear the real story of what happened before. We did a whole lot of clearing. We did a whole lot. I could get my own understanding before I said I do. We're not going to talk about what he went through on this end with the church folk.
Oh, no.
No, this is true talk. This is real talk. We won't talk about the persecution. And we won't talk about the pastors that literally threatened him. Like in his face. Like right there. And this wasn't once, this was several times that he did that. He said, you can't fight in the church. Anywho, we won't talk about him coming against my family and getting respect for my family and going to my brother and saying to my brother, I know you don't think I'm the one for your sister. But he said, like Jacob, I will work 14 years to get your sister because I love her. So, our drives together of silence for 3 hours, our sitting together of just talking and talking, he did a lot. I'm not gonna cry. Yeah, maybe I will. He did a lot to let me know I'm worth fighting for. And the healing for me was because nobody knew my pain. Because I had to be a hero to the church. So nobody knew my pain. Nobody knew my struggle. And he literally just got up under it and said, I got you. Preach. I got you. Do what you have to do. I got you. I mean, it's real. It's real. So he said, I don't think this is his only confirmation, but he said he knew I was the one he could marry when we could drive all the way to Bakersfield and I didn't talk. He said,
be quiet.
He said he knew. I don't know if that was the only confirmation of the checklist, but so you'll know because the bond becomes deeper than physical. The bond becomes deeper than what you got. He became oxygen for me. And then I didn't care no more what people thought. I didn't care no more about titles or any of that because people weren't going to go home with me. And people weren't under me, helping me do what I had to do. So, the question was, how do you know what the cross is? I remember that.
Okay, seriously, like, when it crosses, like, first of all, we like each other, otherwise we spend time with each other. The first is that physical attraction, right? That's that list that I was talking about, right? Y'all ain't checking off enough of those checklists, those check boxes, dude ain't gonna even holler at you. You gonna keep on pushing. Don't keep on pushing, man. I'm saying if dudes stop and giving you some time, you checking off some boxes. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2. Yeah, because most men, 1 or 2 boxes, she walking straight. But you know, when it crosses over, when you're not lusting after her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you grab hands, you ain't thinking about sleeping with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be real with it, man. Like, when she walk away from you, you ain't only looking at her butt. I'm being real with you, right? You know, when you ain't trying to stick your tongue all the way down the throat.
Ew. Righteous relationship.
I'm just saying. You don't keep it real. You gotta keep it real. I don't know how to do nothing else, man. Right? So you know it's real when you respect her for her values and her beliefs and her standards.
Yes.
Now you know it's real.
Yes.
Right? And not been good. Nah, I'm just thank you very much. That's when you know it's real. Your hands stay above the waist, around the shoulder blade. Now you know it's real. Because at first, he trying to do a little feel, baby, come here. We trying to do all of that.
Yeah.
We trying to walk you to the car, and we looking around, ain't nobody looking. Can I just get a little, can I get one? Just give me one. Give me a sheet. Y'all ain't never had that kiss me a sheet. As soon as you go, like, lean there like that. Come on. Y'all know that happens. So when he ain't trying to do none of that, and he still want to be with you, and y'all having conversations about earth, about something, just don't even mean that. Now you know. Because now you feeling like, I'm getting to know this person. It's more in depth than physical attraction.
Right.
Because you know, men, as soon as she have that first baby, some stuff going.
What?
And they have help, but some stuff going.
What?
I'm just saying. See, it ain't always been. I'm just saying. So us men, we gotta learn how to dig a little deeper than the physical. We gotta learn how to dig a little deeper, man. God forbid she gets some sickness. And all we see is that physical. As soon as she gets sick, our attention will go somewhere else. That's right. Gotta learn to dig a little bit more deep than just what she looks like. Can I talk to you? Can we have a conversation? Do you pique my intelligence? Can we dream together?
Come on.
I can't get none of that from you, man. You're too shallow for me. You're too shallow. Let us drive a Honda or less.
Back to the cars.
We got a question over here, though.
Question over here too.
Okay, we got a question over here.
My name is Brother Cameron. My question was, for me as a man, I feel like, or as I'm a young man trying to become a better man, my question was more as, I feel like, as I'm just getting older and God is taking me to a place to be where I need to be, I like doing stuff. I'm very materialistic in my own way, for my own self. Like, I like driving my Mercedes that's outside. I like $300 jeans and $200 shoes. I like doing stuff like that and getting my hair done. For me, my thing is like, I like someone to appreciate me for not only like the man that I am, but like what I got as well. Because like how you were saying, you don't know what a man been through and why he's driving a Honda, but you don't know what I've been through to get that Mercedes. So I just want to know, besides all this materialistic stuff that I have, what else am I supposed to look for? Because like I know like a woman is supposed to look inside, but I want a woman to notice that stuff about me because I've been on an altar and God told me the type of man that I'm going to become. And I don't want to be, I'm not going to be anything less than driving a Honda. You're never going to see me driving a Honda because God told me I'm not going to. Because my story, if you don't, a lot of people don't know my story, but I've been through, like I said, you don't know what it took for me to do, you know, what I got and how much that prides me and makes me feel like a man. And, any man, when you wear nice clothes or something, makes you stand up straight and walk up straight and feel good about yourself. So, how do I know, like, if someone's really trying to, like, really just into me, as far as, looking, like, not only looking inside me, but looking at, like, not saying, oh, he has a nice car, so I just want to be him because of that, because I know that I'm going to always have nice stuff, and so how I know that somebody's just going to into me as a person.
I would say, and I know I'm gonna probably go high and he gonna go real. I would say, Cameron, that the only thing I would caution you of is because things can happen that you could lose or not have the ability to the materialistic things. And I'm saying that to say this, that never let the materialistic things be your resemblance of being a man. That you don't need any of them. You can be stripped from all of them, and it won't change who you are as a man. Because the power of a man is that he can lose everything and build it all over again, because he's a man. So I would never want you to fail, because that's what happened to Job. So Job was a perfect, so God can tell you all the blessings that he's going to have on your life. And God can start you with all of those blessings, but God will try you in where you are with your walk with him. So I would say to you that as you are growing into the young man that God is blessing you to be, is that your main identity must be that God is my identity. That's what happened to Job. He was a perfect and an upright man, and so he had to get tried in that. And this once prosperous, noble man in the city was stripped to boils of cancer and put outside the city, a leper, lost all his friends, all of his family. And it took him going that low for God to make him understand that with me you can't do nothing. And obviously when he repented and came to himself with God, God turned around and gave him all back 7 times greater. So God can bless you, but he also will try you so that he can always be the center of who you are. So Cam, you are very, to me personally, because I'm not, and believe it or not, I don't, seriously, I'm not a materialistic person. I'm really, really not. I like nice things, but I'm not a materialistic person. And I'm saying that to say this, Cam. I think you are so artistic and creative. I said I like nice things. Okay, in all fairness, pause, Cam, he's interrupting. In all fairness, before we married, I said to you that I like nice things, and I said, I just want you to know I like gifts. I did say that there's gifts. Anywho, yeah. You are an amazing, artistic young man. I mean, your art is amazing, which tells me that you are creative. And so I've monitored you all of your life. And I've understood your transition and your evolution because I know you're creative. I also know the challenges of when you're creative and when you're talented. It's almost like you can end up becoming the jack of all trades and master at none because you're so talented and you're so creative, and it can go in so many ways. So I would say that it will take God to anchor you so that you'll really know what is the one talent that he's asking you to use that will be your door of prosperity. But your cars and everything he's blessed you with is amazing at such a young age, but that is not who you are. And a young lady, you know, you're not going to do the kind that's going to fake that you ain't got good stuff, but you'll know when she's into you and not into your stuff. You'll know it, and it's because you can't fake personality. You can't fake personality, and she's going to care about you, Cam, and she's going to care about your well-being, and she's going to care about you being a better man. A real smart girl for your choice will almost be just the opposite. That she's not into materialistic things at all, because she'll make and demand that creative part of you to stand up, because she won't care about your car, your Mercedes, or any of that. That's the kind of young woman that I would say would be a blessing to your life.
Just, you know, I mean, that was perfect. You can't let your car, your stuff define who you are by any means. We build again. And if I would have allowed that to happen to me when I lost my first car, like, I didn't lose it, like, I don't know where it is. They came and got mistake again. You understand? So I had that was a life lesson for me.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I was 25, bruh. I was 25, I had my own business, my own restaurant, prosperous. I mean, I was in LA, I was cooking for the stars, bro. I was a celebrity chef.
Right.
At 25. You couldn't tell me nothing. I mean, I'm there. You name them, I was there. Jamie Foxx, me and him, we hung out. Kobe, Shaq, you name it. I'm saying, I mean, that didn't even define me. That didn't define me. So don't let them live it, brother. Live it to the fullest. And what I'll say to everyone in this room, just remember, women need love, men need respect. Yes. Men need respect.
Yeah.
Y'all need love. Y'all need to hear, I love you, I love you, I love you.
Yes. Yes.
We need to hear, baby, I respect you. I honor you. We were made in the image of God. Right? So that means we inhabit. God, the Bible says God inhabits the praises of his people. And if I was made in the image of God, I mean, I need some praise. A woman that never praises a man will never have a happy man. Driving in a Mercedes, wearing $300 jeans, it's really bald. Do you see me? You see me? You know what I'm saying? What you? Really, seriously. Because you have the same personality whether you're in Walmart jeans or the $300 pair. Make sure that woman disrespects you for what you bring to the table, regardless of what vehicle you get to the table in. Woman? We have a question.
Sorry.
What about back in the room?
Hi, Penny.
Hi, Amy.
I have like 3 questions, but they correspond with one another. Okay, so the first one is, what is courtship? Like, what, like, defining courtship? Like, what does that look like, or what is it? And then in courtship, okay, I'll just ask 2. And then in courtship, when do you define? Like, what are the boundaries? So, like, I mean, obviously, like, fornication, all that is like all the way up there. But what are the little boundaries that like make courtship?
So, you know, that's a good question, and I'm going to tag back to Dana that for me, no, Dana, no, wait. The thing of it is, as a pastor, the challenge is because people are at different levels of their life. I don't really expect Sister Georgia to come and get my permission to go out with somebody.
Really?
Y'all feel what no, let me break it down. My point is, we're in different stages.
Right.
And she's a bona fide grown woman with kids. Been there, done that. So there's a certain level of maturity and respect that I give Sister Georgia. I'm not going to ask Sister Brandy. I saw that brother talking to you. You better get my permission. I'm not. Yeah. She's a widow. Been there, done that. But for you, Emmy, but for young people, because the Bible said, flee youthful lust. I know that temptation is greater at y'all ages. And folly lives, not in the negative sense, but it is what it is. Folly, and there's a lot of temptation and things at certain ages that both, when I tell you that we genuinely care about our young people's destiny and all of our singles and all of our young adults and older adults and starting over again. We don't want you to start over again and again and again and again, nor do we want you to get so far into it that now you can't hear us. And that's where y'all know, I just say, why are you coming to me? You can't come to me and tell me you got a date. I'm talking wedding date. Why are you, and don't lock me down like that. And I'm glad I can say this now, why ain't nobody came to me. Don't lock me down like that. Don't put my back against the wall to approve your engagement when I didn't even know something was going down. So you put my back, and then you're going to make me like the bad guy or something. And the truth is, I love you so much, I'm not validating something I can't validate. So courtship, again, at any level, should be the friendship. And it should be light. And it should be easy. And it should be fun, depending on what stage you are in life. Sister Georgia, and I mean this because she's more mature, and our more mature women and men of God, Brother Luis, more mature men and women of God, you know, they don't have a long list. And I'm not doubting that you do or you don't. But my point is, y'all been through the thrill and the butterfly stage. Not that you don't want that. Brother, dig me out. Y'all get what I'm saying? They have different perspectives. And there's perspectives that sometimes it's just companionship. It's somebody that's easy to talk to. It's I'm tired of going home alone. Whereas yours is still somebody to go camping with and oh, we're climbing the mountain. Sister, I ain't going up no mountain. I'll be down here for the mountain. So I'm not judging you, Sister Georgia. Please forgive me if I am. My point is, there's different stages of courtship. I appreciate, though, as Shabu just made comment, it's extremely appreciative to me when you do say something, because I can pray with you. I'm not against you. I want you to be happy, so I'm going to pray with you. Oh, okay. Well, let's pray with that. Pastor Ben, how many been here 10 years or more? Raise your hand, 10 years or more. Am I going to police you? No. I got the time. Now, I'm not a babysitter pastor. I'm not. I ain't. I can't. And I never will. I will tell you the truth, and then you be left with God in your judgment. Things that we taught traditionally is that you don't want to be with that person at night at 11 o'clock at a movie and at some place you set your own self up. They say, don't nothing good happen after midnight. So why you set your own self up at any age? That's real. Why are you setting yourself up? It's just some things is just common sense and wisdom. We always say you should do things in groups if you can. You don't want to listen, this is bad. It's bad. It's bad. We ain't married yet. I don't even know you talking to the dude. We don't even know you talking to the girl. And y'all leaning all up on each other. You don't already know too much done went down. Already know that. Too much done went down. Then you gonna come to me and say we want to get married. You know what I'm saying? Bless you. Because you're too far gone. And if I dare to dissect and we go through some things, because we gonna see what you're not gonna see. And now you ain't ready to do it. Now just hands off. Now I'm a demon in the church. I ain't studying that church. They trying to control everybody's life. I've been there, done that a gazillion times. A gazillion times. I dare to say, and I say this all by God's grace, and I told the little couple I counseled the other day, we back 100 and old. Marriages that the Lord has blessed us to put together are still together. We are back 100 and old. We have no failure. And I say that by God's grace because we're trying to get the marriages no joke. It's no joke, and you don't want to wait till you're way down the line, and now you come to us, y'all done kissed, smooched, did all that, and now you come and say, this is who I want to marry. Okay? Because you're too far gone. So you want to have a decent, relationship that there's boundaries that, how about this? We know the quote, keep your emotions in your pocket. But it's keep it that if I hear no, I can walk. Keep it there. Don't make it get so far that you say, no. Just like practice. Look at me. No. See how you feel. And see how you feel. Because if you're going to break down and cry, then you already know I've gone too far. Until you get all green lights, courtship, sisters, brothers, and I know he could tag this better than I can. As Dr. Miles Monroe, our father in the gospel, my husband's father in the gospel said, courtship is just that. It's courting. That means that person needs to come to an assembly line of everybody that know you and love you, and they should be on the hot seat to see, are you the right one? I just don't appreciate how they judge. We digging for your sake. Because we won't say what you ain't going to say. We going to ask, we going to check them out, we going to look. Brothers know what to look for, sisters know what to look for. I don't like the way she talks to sisters. That girl got an attitude. I'm telling you right now, she got attitude. Then you get attitude. That's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all just, well, I saw her. I'm a girl. I know a girl with attitude fronting for you. girl, she ain't all that, and then you, so that's my thing, is that you should know your boundaries, and you don't let yourself get in uncomfortable positions, and when you feel yourself getting too hot, I'm welcome, I'm good, yeah, ooh. You need to know your own boundaries, because I don't police, I ain't got the time for that, but you know when you set yourself up, so that's fine. Thank you, sir.
Courtship, as she said, Dr. Malcolm wrote, yeah, my father in the gospel, he put it just like that. Courtship is just that. You're on trial. You're on trial. So, when you're courting someone, the ideal is for you to bring that person around your lawyers or your friends or your family, and they're to interrogate that person on your behalf. Because my best interest is you.
It's you.
And vice versa, right? So if you was courting someone, you bring them around your family, your friends, and they're supposed to drill them.
Right.
They're supposed to ask them the hard questions. And you're supposed to stay in groups. Because your girlfriend is supposed to tell you, when you walked out of the room, I saw him checking out such and such butt.
Hello? You sitting on me.
Or he was hitting on me.
That's real.
That's what it's about.
That's real.
But if he's successful on keeping you to himself and not around your friends, he already got you. He already got you. It's just a matter of time. Hand gonna go from the shoulder blade, it's gonna walk down to the right around the waist, and walk down, it's gonna grab the cheek. You're going. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen, man. Like, but that's what's gonna happen. So courtship is just that they're on court, they're on trial, and they're supposed to be interrogated or investigated by the people that love you,
Right.
and vice versa. You know, on his behalf. You know what I'm saying? So that's what courtship is. And there was a question like that.
How do you know, like,
What's your name? What's your name?
My name is Vanessa. How do you know if somebody is into you? Not into the physical part of you, but like into like the future part of you. If that question makes sense though.
You heard my journey, so, I think I want to back up a little bit in this respect. Sisters, sometimes we know the rule of hard to get. First of all, hard to get still works. Brothers say it does. No, they're not. Girls say it does. Playing hard, thank you, sister. No, I act like I said something like jacks. I don't play jacks. The rule of hard to get still works. And I think girls today, we're just too easy. We're just too easy. Brothers, why I can't get no amens from nowhere? Amen. You want to still hold and have some boundaries that says, I'm not easy. Now, I'm going to tell you what I learned back in the day about the game of hard to get. What I learned from men, they told me later on, that the reason why it's good for the man is because he trusts you that another man can't get you that easy. Right. Now the brothers are waking up. So, how do you know when a guy or a girl is into you? I would say because they pursue you and they respect you. I think respect is huge. And as my husband said, when you have the guy that respects your values and your morals and won't go beyond that's what he did with me once he figured I was a bastard. But that made me give him more attention because I wasn't fearful of being around him. I wasn't afraid he was going to try to hit on me. I wasn't afraid he was going to make me kiss him. You see what I'm saying? Because he recognized my boundaries and my calling and all of that, and he stayed within those parameters. So I would say part of that is the person says, I respect you enough, I'm interested in you enough that I'll respect your space. And I'm still here. Your whatever didn't run me away. I'm still here. And vice versa. So that's what I would add. I don't know. How do you know a person said to you?
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we can't. We gonna take as much as you give us. Like I said, we men gonna take as much as you give us. Matter of fact, we take a little more when you give us an extra 1 mile, right? You know what I'm saying? You better kiss you on the cheek, you want to kiss you on the lips, you know, the whole shebang, right? You know, but the whole shebang. So if you don't have no boundaries, trust me, we will give you some. We will give you boundaries if you don't have any. But those boundaries are going to be in our favor. They're going to be in our favor. So if you approach a man and you don't have boundaries, he'll give you boundaries, but trust they're in his favor. So go into any courtship, if you will, with your boundaries. And no, it's not going to be easy. We're going to push against those goals. We're going to push against those gates. We're gonna call you bluff, right? I'm saying we're gonna try and push beyond your boundaries. If you uphold your boundaries, then the respect comes in, and we back up and we honor those boundaries. And then we say to ourselves, it took me this long. I know ain't nobody else did. So back in the
Righteous
relationship. So I'm gonna go here because I think the people need to hear.
Okay.
Right. So way back in the day when a dude could meet a girl and they could go all the way on the first date, ask yourself, your girlfriends that you know that did that, how many phone calls they got back? It's too easy. It's too easy. Only way they call them back when nothing else going on. Let me hit that one back up because that's a for sure thing. Because she didn't have boundaries. She didn't have boundaries. And God is going to give you boundaries. It's just going to work in their favor. So you got to go into it with boundaries.
Okay, last one, Frill. Oh, Moni. Yes. We won't hear you.
Okay, I have a question. What do you say?
Hi, Moni.
Hi, Moni. What do you say to the single daughters that are 35 and up that are looking for love?
Yes.
They want to be married. They want to have kids, but the clock is ticking.
Yes.
I'm not talking about myself.
Yes. It's a friend thing.
It's a sister thing. We'll put it
Right.
But it's, yeah, I've been separated, so I'm not looking for that. I have kids, so that is.
Yeah. I would say, Moni, that honestly, for our daughters that are, first of all, we don't stop that it's a panic thing. We won't do that. We won't put ourselves on panic mode like the clock is ticking, when God's clock never stops ticking. So we won't put it on a panic mode, but I do believe that for us to even appear, I do think not putting yourself out there, but knowing that I want to be married and that I hope to be married, then I would probably always display myself beautifully. And I'm not trying to, I don't know how to make it work. What I'm trying to say, I can't make it. No, you know, grown men have to be, you got to be where grown men of that age are. Yes. So they're not in the basketball court. They're not, 45, 50-year-old men. They're not, I don't know what to say. They're not where are they? Yeah. So if they're whatever places of maturity they are, they ain't even in the club. They're too old. You don't want an old man in the club. So you too old, yes. You want to be where that caliber is, so that you can meet your caliber. You got to be where your caliber is. You can't. That's all I can say. You got to be where your caliber is. So it could be in the workplace. Can I put this out here? Can I put this out here? And it doesn't have to be that
Right.
He says he has to be black. He says he has to be Hispanic. Love is love is love is love. That's real. And same for the brothers. Who says she has to be black? Who says that because love is love is love is love. So it's putting us in the system. Well, I got this man here. So that's what I would say. We're mature. I mean, in all honesty, I didn't meet him at In-N-Out. He was at a 5-star restaurant. And so that was my caliber. He was the chef of a 5-star restaurant. I wasn't drawn to the restaurant because I was looking for somebody, but it was a man of a 5-star restaurant. He was already at that caliber. We have never suffered we've never struggled with calibers of life because he already was there. Do you see what I'm saying? So I didn't meet him as flipping burgers at In-N-Out, and I'm saying, "Ooh, you should be in a 5-star restaurant." Do you see what I'm saying? He was already there. So whatever caliber you're looking for, you got to be where they are. So if your caliber is doctors, I don't know, should you become a nurse? I'm just saying, you got to be of that caliber. So and otherwise, I don't. That's what I would say. But I would, beyond anything, you can't look like I'm never going to get married. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want our young women to feel like, I ain't going to get nobody, so it don't matter. Always be beautiful. You don't know where he's going to be. It could be Kimberly Ray. Kimberly Ray was 45, 48, or whatever. And he stopped her for a ticket or something. The man she's with. So he was a police officer and stopped her with something, and the conversation, that's where it started. And she's happily married right now. And she married her caliber. You see what I'm saying? So your caliber is there. You just have to be ready to meet that. She wasn't her red Mercedes Dana, so I don't know what kind of car he drove, but my point is she married her caliber, and guess what they did together? He didn't have a house at the time. He's been married before. He was a man that was starting all over again. Now they got a beautiful 3,000 or 4,000 square foot home that they did together as he was starting over. You see what I'm saying? So, Vivian was 40-something when Brother Terry met her. So you just don't know. So I don't want our sisters or our daughters, and when it comes to children, I don't need no harm. Just forgive me for being that God does miracles and he can let you have a baby at any time, and then there's always adoption. I'm just saying. But the point is, again, my sister Kimberly Ray, I don't know if she ever plans to adopt. I don't know if she can still have children, but one of her desires have been fulfilled, and she is happily married. So I just want to encourage our women of all ages that no, I'm not going to let any of our daughters feel like God ain't got somebody for you. And besides that, we can pray some good brothers in. Ain't that right, Brother Luigi? Oh, sorry. One more.
Guys, I want to say something, and this is real talk.
Okay.
Honestly. Okay.
Yes.
So I pray for the younger women to get married because they need to. Not because you're hoish or anything like that. I'm saying you need to because if you have like a family, I want family, whatever that should be fulfilled. But some of us are broken, and some of us are not marriage material despite your desire. And so what you want to do is make sure you're whole yourself. So and some of us have desires to marry certain kinds of men. And if you desire that, then you have to fix yourself inside. I think more so than mascara, and I could care less about it. I'm not, I'm just saying like mascara and stuff like that. That's all good, but a lot of times it covers you up when you're hurting. Get that first, and then it's boom. You know what I mean? You're not gonna have a good relationship unless you're whole. Everybody got these lists. I don't understand the list. What I'll drive past. I don't care. I have driven luxury cars, and I got my ego. So I can care less. I don't care, but I'm just saying, make yourself up, and while you're going, as you go, fix yourself while you're going towards whatever it is that your heart's desire is. Yeah. But I know God hears my prayer. I want
phenomenal for that. Give it up for that. Phenomenal. Amen. And that's amen. If you're not whole, sisters and brothers, do not look for this man to make you whole. The brokenness, stuff that happens in our life, if you're not whole, then you don't want to, either way, male or female, you want to be whole with Jesus before you find anybody. And what was that? Is that a question? Or was I supposed to just read that?
It was an online question.
He paid for, they sent it in, he paid for her dinner, she didn't get stopped by police. Okay, why you do something like that? That was good.
An online question.
Anyway, we have an online question.
There's two of them. The first one is, what are your thoughts on online dating sites?
What is our thoughts on online dating?
Sites. And then the second one is, what if the man or woman is not saved? But I think.
What if the man or woman is not saved? I will take number 2 first. What if the man or woman is not saved? Then you run the risk of being unequally yoked. Now, I'm going to deal with that unequally yoked, and it was just because I knew time was going to be a long night. I knew that. When you marry unequally yoked, that you all, this man or woman does not know Jesus, but you know Jesus. I'm not going to say, this is what I have said before, I am not going to tell you that it can't work, but I'm going to tell you you are gambling. You're gambling with your marriage. Because the Bible said, be not unequally yoked. The story of that started with the Corinthian church, and as the Corinthian church was coming together, the Grecians and the Romans, they're all coming together. They began to keep their relationships with their friends of the world. And so as they kept their relationships with their friends of the world, and they're trying to marry them, Paul said, wait. You're a believer now. And he said, you can't marry someone that's a non-believer because you all are unequally yoked. So what God is telling you, if they don't understand who God is, they're not going to understand where you're going, how you're thinking. Why do you pay tithes? What are tithes? It's unequally yoked. And I have declared as a leader, when you challenge Pastor Bennett and want to marry someone that does not know the Lord Jesus Christ as their personal Savior, you're asking me to marry you and gamble if this won't work. I don't gamble, and I don't do it. When it comes to, all right, let me back that up even more. For the women, there was a story about a young lady named Dinah. Dinah was the sister of the 12 tribes of Judah. Dinah of Jacob, his 12 sons. Dinah fell with, was he Philistine? I can't remember. Anywho, she fell with someone that was not an Israelite. Right. Yes, she fell with someone that was not an Israelite. But this man loved her. Yes. This man told Jacob, I love your daughter. He went and got his father. I love your daughter, and I want to marry Dinah. The brothers of Jacob said, no way, because you are an uncircumcised heathen. And the father said, my son want to make it right. And not only is he willing to be circumcised, but our entire tribe will be circumcised because I want to bring honor to your daughter. Yes. So sisters, when y'all get these brothers and vice versa, they don't know Jesus. If they really love you, they're willing to shave off their history of their past and make things right with God because I want to make it right and honorable with you. That's Bible. That's Bible. You do not want to run the risk of marrying somebody that does not know Jesus because they may never know Jesus. Back that up, Pastor Bennett. Well, the Bible said, hold up, still in Corinthians, he said, let the unbeliever, so that means I'm already married, let the unbeliever be saved by the life of the believer. Yes, this is somebody already married, couples already married. But if that unbeliever depart, let them go. Daryl, that tells me they may never get converted. That means they may never get converted. It's one thing when I'm married like that. We were already married. I can say you don't. But it's another thing when I go in it, eyes wide open. There are consequences. There are judgments that are out of everybody's control when we make conscious decisions against the will of God. I would say to you to do what I did one time and write on a list, what is it about them you like and And what is about, and then compare where that missing ungodly link is. And then I would recommend you to get on your face to God and get that ungodly link, and I promise you everything else will start falling apart. That's the way, hallelujah. Dating online. People are doing it. I can't give you scripture to do it. Right now, off the top of my head, I don't know what you have. I have no scripture to tell you to do it or not do it. I would just say it's weird. It's not spiritual. It's not spirit-led. It's not spiritually divine. It's none of that. It's just connecting compatibility. Now, there are believers that have got the same wedding, and they are happy. I'm happy for you. I just personally, I'm just kind of raw with the Holy Spirit. I'm raw with, I want to know you, I want to feel you. I don't want to fill in the dot and then the dot connect us together. I want our soul to be connected. I don't want dots to connect us and ask this question and that question. So, I went to Jesus yet about the online to get scripture, but I will. But as of right now, it's not spiritual enough for me. That's a personal opinion, and you can ask another pastor. Okay. Yes.
Online dating.
For real. Yes.
I am Kelvina.
Hi,
I wanted to know, when you're courting, when is it the right time to bring that individual to your leader?
Before you start, bring them with. She said me? Before you start courting.
What date?
Yeah, like, okay, make it simple. Huh? Oh, like.
What she's saying, when is a good time to bring them to the leader?
Yeah.
I mean, then, not like before you meet them.
Right.
That's not cool.
Hi, you need to be my pastor. No, that's not my
Dude's gonna be gone. Somebody want to hear on the second sentence about your mouth, you gotta meet my leader. Nah, what? Who? I'm gone, man. Don't do that. Right? Don't do that. Like, first of all, you need to understand, I'm saying, I want to spend some more time with him. But before you unpackage your emotions, you need to make sure that someone else is overseeing what you're doing. But once you unpackage your emotions, you kind of like in there, right? Because trust me, it's like that little thing, that little worm that pops out of that can. You can't get it back in. You can't get it back in once you unravel with emotions. So, I like him. He's cute. He look like y'all like Drake. Y'all like Drake. He look like Drake. Whoever he looks like Drake. And so once you realize that this is a person you may want to spend a little bit more time with, you may want to see a little bit more. Then you want to start letting somebody know, maybe not necessarily your leader, but someone that you trust, that's going to tell you the truth, someone that you trust, and then again, the courtship thing is with a group of people, never alone, never by yourself, and okay, I'm getting, let me take it to my minister, let me take it to my pastor, let me take it there, before those emotions come out. So I think with every person is different, right? I know maybe your emotion come out on the first date. I don't know. Maybe it takes 10 days. Every person that's different. But you definitely want to release your emotions before you get the leadership and the guidance of someone that can help you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think there's a time frame. After the first 10 days, you take them to your leader. I don't think that's set in stone.
And I think, and we're really gonna close. I know folks nod. I think it should be on him too. I think you should monitor how respectful does he want to be, and how much is he saying, especially hopefully he's a believer. So you want to see where his scruples are in courtship. You want to see where his values are as well. I would love to meet your pastor. Why? You want to see where his morals are as well, to see if he's a believer. And if he's not, then he won't understand the whole process.
Because hopefully you've already invited him to church, because he can T-Bone the football
Unless
game.
he's already in the church.
He already understands. He can keep going on and on. And then if you
you really want to go there, you can just whisper his name in my ear and I'll check it.
Okay, she really got one more. One more. For real, y'all.
Pastor, we could do a part two.
I'm just.
Hi, my name is Eula.
Hi.
I have a question. This whole thing is good as far as for me being divorced and starting all over. I see where I can do things better and not settle. That's the most important thing, because I settled, and because of my settling, I went through a whole lot in my marriage because I settled. It wasn't. I had this list of, and on top of my list was that they love God more than they do me. And it wasn't that. I was like, oh, he didn't. But I ignored it and I settled. So I dealt with that. But as far as with me talking to younger women about dating, my thing is now, because next month I'll be 51, so I'm not going into like what younger women are. I'm like, if you're not talking about marriage, I don't even want to talk to you. So I'm like, because I feel as though if not, then I'm going to find myself dating somebody.
You can't get a man with marriage on the
No, what I'm saying is that if that's the case, then I'll find myself, you'll see me bringing one man to church because I'm dating him, and it's like, okay, and then this is not working. So then again, you see me bringing another man. I was asking a question. It's like, so it's like, I'm not saying that I'm making you marry me, but I'm like, and so when I tell like people I talk to the younger,
because you're in that category of you're a little more mature, right, and you know what you're looking for in a relationship, right, so you don't have to go through all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're not saying that, and then I don't want to tell young people wrong too, because I'm like, you court this. If I see you coming like Kelvin, if I see you coming with one man, and then you say you call, oh, this is not working, then you come with another one. You see what I'm saying? So what my question is that when I tell them, and as far as you courting, it's like, I'm trying to get this thing when you court, it's like, okay, this is the one. So it has to be that this is the one
it's a trial. Yeah, courtship is a trial. And it's when the person has passed the course of courtship. And I mean, again, maybe I'm just being over something, but I respect more mature people. Like I said, Brother Luis and the different, you're not the same. I mean, when I was ready to marry my husband, I went through my own stage of courtship, but I wasn't asking Deborah. I didn't take her to no Deborah. Deborah ain't never been married. I was a widow, and that was the part people kept forgetting. That's the part that people kept, Sister Lisa Martin, people were forgetting. I was a widow. I was married 13 years. So I wasn't no kid. Don't know what I'm doing, don't know how to choose. That's the part the church forgot. That's the part grown-ups forgot. I'm a grown woman. I was married 13 years. So I didn't need to go through no channel of like I'm 12. And so people forgot that. So who did I take them to? I took them to my daddy's old friends. Some OGs. That's why I took them to Pop Ryans. I ain't taking them to Daryl. That's real talk. No offense. I ain't taking Daryl, ain't never been married. I've been married, Daryl. You don't even know what I'm looking for. You don't know what I need at this stage in my life. An older man knew what I needed because they knew I'd been married before. You feel what I'm saying? So it's different. I took him to the mothers of the church. Like I said, I take him to Shabu. Although Shabu was my road dog, though she was, right? But I took him to the mothers. I took him to Nappy's mom. That's what I took him to your grandmama, Andre. I didn't take him to whippersnappers. Y'all don't know nothing. You feel what I'm saying? So, same thing. So you're older, Eula, Sister Lisa Markham. I want all of these. I want our mature women and men of God. I respect you. And if we were to be at some restaurant and I see you eating dinner with a brother, I'm not going to judge you right away. I'm going to respect you. That didn't come out, did it? Not right away. The whole story. So came away. Not right away. I probably smile. Like, girl, get your groove on. I'm just saying. But the point is, I'm going to respect you because you are a grown woman with children. However, if I see Emmy at a restaurant at 10, 11 o'clock at night, she's going home with me. Get this car. That's another story. But you see what the Stages,
You
yes.
gotta understand too that it's for your benefit.
Yes.
It's for your benefit. I have nothing to gain by questioning some dude that you shouldn't have dinner with, except for you. Nothing to gain. What do I care if you tall, fat, skinny, chocolate, white, black? I don't care. You want to end up with, not me. Trust, not me. Right? I mean, but you gotta have that person. I mean, eventually what it boils down to is a mentor, right? What is a mentor? Mentor is somebody that can speak to your life and you listen. Anyone that can tell you something about you that you listen to. If you don't listen to it, that's not a mentor. That's just somebody that's jabbing words, right? You know what I'm saying? So likewise, I mean, at the time when I met her, all of my mentors were rich businessmen.
That's true. White.
We didn't have to use the word white.
They were.
They were very older gentlemen.
Yep.
And I took her on their yacht.
Yep.
As we were cruising Sacramento River.
Yep.
And I told my friend, my colleague, because again, if I'm the biggest fish in my pond is too small. So these were the gentlemen that was mentoring me in business. So that's all I had. I didn't have a church family. So I took her there while they were drinking their expensive wine and smoking their expensive cigars. I said, and they had to go check her out and ask her a question. Right? And then we convened down in the galley. And they told me what they did.
Oh, yes.
We left you up there with wives. We left you up there with wives. We went down. You call it what you want, but those were men that could speak, that saw what I needed, because they, true story, they saw the women that I had around me.
Right.
So when they met her, they saw the difference. So I had an ear to listen to what they said because, you know, Tim's been married for 40 years. Steve was married 30, 40 years. Nick Gazetta. I mean, these are still businessmen that got businesses today. Yeah. Millionaires. These are the men that I was like, okay. Because, again, you're somewhere where I'm not, so you can teach me how to get there, right? And that's what it's about. I mean, they was telling me what was best for me because they knew me. That was the courtship. They interrogated her on my behalf. Because I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know what to ask, to be honest with you. I knew what I liked, but I didn't know what to ask. So I see you. It's not, I don't think we question dude to embarrass you or to put him on the spot. It's really just for you.
And I would say, as we're really gonna close, I would say that, you know, from this, and it's so beautiful. Let's give all of our single adults in the house. That now that we've got at least a first layer of righteous relationships, that we can kind of hold each other accountable. That we're sisterhoods, we're brotherhoods, and like I said, it's different stages, different ages, but we can kind of hold each other a certain level of accountability that I got you. And that, like you said, the whole thing about group is, is he trying to hit on me when you leave? Or, I saw him checking, or I saw her with her attitude. She rolled her eyes when you left. Y'all saw that Melania Trump thing at his inauguration, right? When Trump turned around, she said, and when he left, she said, you ain't seen that? Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, anyway, at his inauguration.
We just want all be peaches, man.
So, yeah.
But no relationship is all roses and peaches, and no relationship, right? Nah, it's two people trying to blend something together, and there's gonna be hiccups and bumps in the road and all that. So I'm saying that knight in shining armor thing, come on, right? She was saying earlier when I walked in about the Superman complex. The whole thing with Superman complex is y'all put too much pressure on the man. I always want us to be this superhero, always. Superman is Clark Kent. Superman is really Clark Kent. But all you see is Superman, Superman, Superman. And when you see my Clark Kent, how do you treat me then? How do you treat me? So I told you that when you meet that man and fall in love with Clark Kent. Because if you fall in love with Clark Kent, you will always love him. But if you fall in love with Superman, in his weak moments, you won't have his back.
My God. Give it up for my money. Well, amen. So thank you for staying, and we're going to take a offering. To all of our online people that stay, give it up for our online people. And sisters, listen, God got somebody for you. And brothers, God got somebody for you. Amen. We have had 10 marriages in the past 2 years in this house, so love is in the air. Love is in the air. And it's only going to get richer. So we're paying our tithes, our offering. You can offer an envelope, raise your hand. And yes, we will have a part 2 soon, because you got to deal with living families together when we're married before and now you've got a child, and how do those things come together? Relationships are much. You're a single mom, and is this man will be right for my child? And I promise you, all I can tell you is you better keep Jesus in the forefront. I'm begging you, keep Jesus in the forefront of any man or woman you're looking at. Keep Jesus on the forefront. You want them because you want to know they got Jesus. For real. Because Jesus is going to help y'all get through it. Amen. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have challenges. But if you got Jesus, then he'll help you work it out. All right, pay your tithes, pay your offering. If you're paying by text, you're welcome to do so. Send a check. I want to say sanctified and sealed. Yes. We still take credit cards as well, and even cash. Yes, we still do. Paying your tithes, your offering. All right, sweethearts. On the side note, the most amazing birthday ever. Just thank you for the most amazing birthday. I take weeks, okay, this is not good if people wrote checks, but I do take weeks to open cards and stuff, because it's like I keep stretching it and relish it, and I'll open up a couple of cards one day, and they're all over the house, and I'll keep the flowers until they die, until finally there's like this mildew, Mom, get rid of them. But I do relish every single card, every letter, every little note, because you don't have to do anything. So thank you very much. Let's stand to our feet when we get ready to go home. I do hope that the singles of this house can get better acquainted with one another, and who knows what relationships can come out of this house. I think it would be beautiful. I absolutely love couples coming together. Life is meant to have a good time, and you have your daughters, and I do want to put this out there. You have your daughters like Sister Finette, she carries herself well, she loves the Lord, and she is content. Let me throw that out there. There are some people that they are content. They're content with it. So there's a young lady named Rhonda Carroll who does mission works all over the world. She's in China, she's in Europe, she's all over the world. She's never been married, she has no desire to be married, she's content in doing the work of God. So you have people that are like that, and that's perfectly okay. And that's a testimony of itself. She's not a horse woman, her name ain't nothing. She's happy all the time, smiling all the time. So whatever it is that your state is, whatever your state is, that's the part I kept trying to say. And she brought it out about, you don't want to look wounded. You don't want to look like you're not happy. Whatever state you're in right now, be happy. Be happy and know that God has the time and the moment and the right person for you. Father, we thank you tonight. Thank you, Lord, for opening up so much of our understanding. Thank you for removing scale from our eyes. Father, thank you for allowing your word to come in and teach us and lead us and guide us. Now, Father, I ask that your blessings that will be upon us, Father, that they will fall on good ground, and that we will bring forth fruit of healthy relationships in this house. Lord, we declare that we will bring forth marriages that are honorable in your sight. Father, we ask that you forgive us of any sins and any transgressions that would hinder the blessing. Father, forgive us for any dishonorable ways that were not pleasing in your sight. But Father, we declare that from this night forward, we will do nothing but bring forth fruit. For Father, you have ordained us and you have called us to bring forth fruit. So Father, I thank you for fruitful marriages, fruitful courtships, fruitful relationships, and fruitful families. We declare it so in Jesus' name as we leave this place, never from your presence. Be events all around us. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. God bless you.